Hello, I'm John, the executive producer here at Final Show Films. I got a few notes for you before the show. First, I want to thank you all for watching. We couldn't do what we do or the amount of things that we do without the support of you, the viewer. If you want to support us financially, which we always appreciate, you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/fsfilms, where you can donate as little as $1 a month to help us continue this and all the things that we do. I want to give a special shout out to our $25 supporters, Antitonic, Waterflame, and Samantha Bates. Second, I want to let you all know that we here at Final Show Films are planning a little get-together up at Gen Con this year. That's August 2nd through 5th up at Indianapolis. We're going to be up there just sort of hanging out, enjoying the con, spending time together, and if any of you guys want to come up and say hi, please feel free. We don't bite unless you want us to. And if you enjoy whatever it is you're about to watch or listen to, be sure to check out our website at finalshowfilms.com, where you can find links to all of our other content, both podcast and video. And be sure to follow me at John A. Bates on Twitter for more updates on all of the content we're creating in the future. In the meantime, thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy. Hello, we're here. Hi, everybody. I'm John, the storyteller for this evening, for Shadows of the Valley, episode 11. Joining me today is Jeremy.
Hi, I'm Jeremy. I am playing, Jesus Christ. I can't even get the first syllable.
Doing really good.
Isaki Hisoka, the Dragon Clan investigator who's about to be eaten.
And Aaron.
Hi, I'm Erin. I'll be playing Yase Hinata, the Lion Clan Shugenja, who really would prefer if her fiance didn't get eaten, but if he does, that's fine.
Yeah, that's fair.
And Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack, and I'm playing Nakano Hayato, the Shisoru clan infiltrator of the Scorpion, who is looking forward to seeing how his Kami Blessed Blade does against things that eat his leaders.
And Mara.
Hi, I'm Mara. I'm playing Kakita Irie, Crane Clan duelist, as I stumble over my words.
At least you can get your name out.
Yeah. Who is hoping not to die. Dang it. Please.
I'm going to challenge the Oni to a duel.
Yes. Please, can I duel it? Can I duel everything?
And William.
Hi, I'm William, and I'm playing Renakane, the Crab Clan Berserker, who, let's be honest, is the one who's actually going to get eaten here because I'm going to be running headlong at the Oni.
So, when last we left our adventuring party of samurai warriors, the group had finished with negotiations with the Unicorn Clan to achieve allies in their fight against the Akujin Kairai, or Kairai Akujin, who had previously levied an ultimatum at the Dragon Clan of basically get your shit and get out. They said they didn't, want to, so they've been on an adventure to gain allies and magical weapons in order to help fight Akujin. On their way back to the Dragon Clan territory, they made a stop in the mountain range to see if they could acquire the assistance of the Dragonfly Clan, an offshoot minor clan that basically made up of allies to the Dragon Clan itself. A primarily Shugenja clan that could theoretically help with their magical prowess, the Dragon Clan deal with their enemies. On the journey there, they crossed through the mountains and into a forested area right next to where the rest of the mountain becomes covered in trees, where they camped for the night in a grove apparently protected by Kodama, small tree spirits that frolic to various places. In the middle of the night, the Kodama seemed to sense something amiss and ducked into the earth to hide as Hisoka, venturing into the darkness beyond the camp, discovered, much to his chagrin, the large leathery hide and massive form and tusked jaw of an ogre of some kind, leaning out of the darkness, having come hunting Kodama and having found human prey as well. And that's where we pick up. So, let's just go ahead and roll initiative.
All right. Now, I want to I like how you assume that this is to Hisoka's chagrin, considering that he is a 16 to 17-year-old boy who previously said, no, I want to stay and see the other Oni fight and slaughter people so I can give an accurate description to.
Yeah, but that one wasn't 3 feet in front of you.
No.
This one is.
Yes.
So my modifier didn't come through, but my initiative is a 44.
All right.
18.
Anyway.
I get what is it?
+5
Add
initiative.
my perception. All right.
Damn.
28.
Well, you will be happy to know that the ogre is going last.
That's good.
Good.
Hooray.
We're all asleep though.
Hayato, Airi, Hisoka, Akane, Hinata, and the ogre. You would have woken up at the sound of an
Okay.
ogre stepping into the
Good.
camp and vocalizing things.
Yeah. No, all of us are here.
Actually, no. I'll go ahead and roll in Arashi as well because he is here.
Also, Suzume.
Suzume is not going to be fighting.
I didn't think
Does
so, but
she
you know.
have anything other than a
She's
knife?
up in a tree. She's up in a tree, at
She
least.
has a couple of knives.
Right?
Yeah, she's up in a tree. No, she's a sneaky, like, steal things character. So actually, Arashi will be going before Hisoka. So it'll be Hayato, Airi, Arashi, Hisoka, Akane, Hinata, and the ogre. So Hayato, you're first.
All right. Now, since I was stealth behind the stump, is this ogre considered aware of me?
You were stealthed behind the stump.
I'm pretty sure I was.
You were sitting on the stump as last I recall.
Okay, then we will ignore that, and he will. Let's see. He's going to pull out his Shisoro blade. Is it an action to poison it?
Yes.
All right. He's going to pull out his Shisoro blade and put his venom on it.
Which venom?
Just his natural, like, harvested it out of a scorpion venom.
Okay. So you spend. Well, first of all, so first is your stance, which I'm assuming is going to be a defensive stance while you're doing this.
Yeah, because he can do that while he's
Yeah,
defensive.
you can do that
right?
while you're defensive.
Okay, then yes, he will be going defense stance then.
So you sort of step up behind this tree stump, go defensive stance, and prepare to start applying your poisons.
Mm-hmm.
Airi, what are you doing?
Getting out of the tent, flinging the pillow away, and going into center stance.
I'll say you can get out of the tent and go center stance. Sure.
Okay.
So that's what you're going to be doing. Arashi is going to be going full attack stance. Hisoka, what are you going to be doing?
All right, so help me out here clarification-wise positioning.
Mm-hmm.
Is he in the camp, or because you said I'd stepped outside?
So yeah,
the
you're
camp.
sort of like
So-
right outside the ring that the Kodama had sort of made. So you're like, if you're thinking of the clearing as circled by trees, you're
Right.
just past the first line of trees,
Okay.
and it is right next to you.
Okay. Is moving away? I still don't know this.
There are no attacks opportunity.
Okay. So yeah, someone's backing up
Okay.
into the camp,
Okay.
and then going.
So with I'm assuming defensive stance, because full defensive stance you can't move. You just focus
correct.
on
No,
defense.
yes, that's what I was checking on.
Okay.
Yeah, single defensive stance.
Okay.
Single defense. You know what I mean.
Regular
Basic
defense. Regular defense.
Yeah.
Yep. Akane.
Well, with my ranks in Kenjutsu, I can draw a sword as a free action rather than a simple action. So, drawing the flame katana, shifting to regular attack stance, and going to go in for strikes.
Okay, so you're going to be going into regular attack stance. Hinata?
Okay. I know 3 ranks of defense gives me something, but I can't find it in the book anymore.
3 ranks of ogre slime?
No.
Rank 3, you can retain the result of previous defense reflexes roll rather than making a new roll if your full defense stance is being maintained through subsequent rounds.
Got it. Well,
So if you do really good with your first roll,
right.
you can keep it.
But yeah, I'll take the +5 from defense stance because I have 3 ranks of defense and an air ring of 2. +5.
Anything else you're doing in addition to going into defense stance?
Yes, because I can cast during that.
You can.
Now I really want to just spontaneously speak to a squirrel for unrelated reasons.
Excuse me, squirrel. What do our chances look like?
Squeak 'em, squeak. Squeaker, squeak 'em.
Does it look like anyone doesn't have their weapon with them?
No. Everyone has weapons.
Okay. Then who's near me?
You were in your tent, so you step out of the tent. Airi, Akane, and Arashi are near you, but Akane and Arashi are definitely going to be running off as soon as, probably before you get that chance to act. So, and
Before I get a chance to cast my spell on my initiative.
remember,
Yeah,
the way
'cause we act
the
before you.
first round of initiative is what are you planning to do, and then everything goes.
It's weird.
Okay. So you said Hayato's near me?
Yeah, Hayato and Airi are near you. Will be near you by the time the
Okay.
initiative comes around.
Jack,
Yep.
stamina, agility, or reflexes? Which do you need most?
Agility will help me hit this thing. Stamina doesn't necessarily have a complete output. I would say probably agility, honestly.
Okay. I'm not nerfing my spellcasting roll right now, so I'm gonna not do strength, but
Oh yeah, no, that's fine.
have a point of agility
Okay.
as I cast this spell that I know I can. I can technically fail that roll, but it's not likely. 41 exceeds 10 by quite a bit.
Yep. So, your casting spell, Ogre, looks like it's going to be running in to hit things. So, top of the round of this first round. Hayato, you whip out your sword, go step off the stump, sort of putting yourself in a bit of a defensive stance, using the stump as partial cover, theoretically, and begin applying the scorpion venom to your blade. Airi, you burst out of your tent, weapon at the ready, and just center yourself, preparing to strike. Arashi, you see, just sort of erupts from the ground, his Bicento in hand as he just almost leaps in the direction of the ogre, landing next to Hisoka. Hisoka, you sort of like shake as this large man hits the ground next to you, providing a very suitable bulwark between you and the demon in front of you. He makes an attack. He definitely hits. It's very hard for him not to hit things.
I mean, when you consider how much he rolls.
There's just this sound of a sonic boom as the Bicento, crackling with lightning, flashes down and draws a huge line across the chest of this ogre. Sort of this purplish black blood dripping and oozing out of the wound as the ogre sort of rears back in response to the injury. As Arashi sort of placed himself between Hisoka and the enemy. Which then makes it Hisoka. So yeah, you run back. Where are you running to in the camp?
I was moving back into the campsite.
So just on the other side of the tree line?
Yes.
All right, so yeah, you step around and you're in defensive mode. Is there anything you want to do?
Doing nothing apparently because
holding
there's somebody in between me and him now. So
I mean, you can was there something you were wanting to do? Because you're not. He's sort of placing himself next to you. You can get around him if you had wanted to do that. He was just sort of making himself a bigger target.
I don't know. I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, you duck around back behind a tree into the camp, going into a defensive mode. Akane. So yeah, you get up, run forward.
Yep. Make an attack with this nice flaming sword that I've got here.
All right.
So that's going to be a 32 to hit.
32 is going to hit.
All right. And then first, this is the jade weapon, so I don't know how that affects Oni. But 35 points of regular damage.
Nice.
And then I add the fire damage of the sword is another 9 points of fire damage.
So yeah, you come up behind, you sort of come up underneath Arashi as he brings the Bicento up. You just go underneath it and bring the sword up again, striking a nice X mark, just striking alongside parallel to his strike. Now there's just giant bleeding X on the creature's chest. And the two of you are sort of standing there. Hinata, you go defensive mode and you cast your spell, increasing Hayato's agility. Is there anything else that you are going to do on your turn?
That's my entire turn.
That's it? All right. The ogre's turn. Well, it's got two really nice targets right in front of it.
Yeah, you do.
It is pretty injured because both of you hit it pretty good. Yep, okay. He's going to hit the one with a fiery sword because it's kind of
That makes sense.
on fire. Does a 31 hit you?
Yes.
If you add 5 to your armor TN?
Adding 5 makes it 30, so just
So it
barely.
still hits, okay. All right. So yeah, it just rears back with this giant. You're up close at it now. It's basically like a giant flail attached to a large spiked club. He's sort of holding the spiked club end and whipping the flail back. It just swings it back around. You sort of get your sword up a bit to try to block it, but the spiked heads of the flail whip around and get you in the back, dealing 27 points of damage.
27. All right.
Which does still your reduction still helps against that, but.
Yep. Since I'm in attack stance and not full attack stance, I reduced that by 7, so I just take 20. I'm not even nicked yet.
Well, bam.
Jesus.
All right, that top of the round. So now it's just your initiative is whenever you are. So
actually, at the end of the turn,
up
because the reaction phase is at the end of the turn.
It's true. What do you have in your reaction phase?
I go into a rage.
So yeah,
which for Akane is a Deadeye rage, which means that her entire expression, everything about her just blanks, and there's this sort of silent tornado that is just kind of all around her, and her eyes just start to glow a very bright red.
So for anime fans, it's the moment before going Super Saiyan, just the energy pulse out of Akane as the blood sort of begins dripping down her side from this injury, and she just harnesses that pain and focuses down on this creature. That's gonna make it Hayato.
We're going in standard attack, not full attack, on a attempted strike with Yukigiri.
Okay. Are you going to just run up, sort of next to the others, or are you wanting to attack from a different angle, or what?
He's gonna try and swing around it
Because
at
there are
Okay.
trees.
Let's see. My water ring is, I want to say 3 at this point. Yeah, my water ring is 3. Could I conceivably go up a tree and hit him with a Genji strike from the top?
Let me see. What is the movement? What's the movement calculation for somebody that has that page, that part of the book open?
Goddamn. I think it's water times 10 for a complex, water times 5 for a simple.
So yeah, you could give me a
For a water times 10 for a simple, water times 5 for.
give me a give me an athletics skill.
Okay.
Yeah, give me an athletics skill check.
Okay. Boop. 19.
So yeah, you sort of run up past Hisoka and just plant foot on tree and launch yourself up the tree Hisoka sort of ducked behind. So you see Hayato just run up this tree basically. Grab a branch and launch yourself off, coming down at it from above. I'm gonna say you get an extra 1, extra 2, keep 1 on the attack roll.
Okay, cool. Which bumps it up to that. All right, to attack. 50.
That hits, yeah.
Oh, technically that should be
10 keep 6,
10 keep
but
6.
you hit.
We'll go with just you hit. All right. So I deal 16 damage to him.
Okay.
And if that, he'll need to make a target number 30 stamina roll or have the poison afflicted.
All right. What does the poison do?
Pulling that up now.
Doesn't matter, you made it.
Okay.
He rolled a 66.
Okay. Yep. No, I figured he'd probably have some. Yeah.
So yeah, you all see Hayato run up this tree and just dive down, blade held backwards in his hand, slicing down, sort of across the neck and shoulder.
Initial attack just inflicts the poison.
Okay.
He doesn't make the stamina roll until the end of each hour.
Okay, that's fine.
So his agility, reflexes, stamina, and strength are are all reduced by 1.
All right. That's good. So yeah, Hayato just slides past the ogre's shoulder, slicing into its sort of neck and shoulder muscle area, landing behind it. And again, leaving another purple and sort of greenish black blood trail where it was. Which makes it Idri.
Yes, I'm gonna attack it.
Full attack?
No, just a standard
Just
attack.
standard attack? You sure?
Yeah. Yes, I am. And okay. And I have higher initiative than it, so that happens.
Yes, you have a much higher initiative than it.
40.
40 to hit?
Yep.
Yeah, that hits.
Okay. And sorry, math. 3, 2. What is this? 4. Keep 3. But 5. Okay. Damage miss. All right. 29.
Idri dashes in, following suit as the other 3 have, and just comes up basically the other side around Arashi that Akane had gone, drawing the blade and slicing through its side in the same motion, ending up basically flanking it with Hayato and Akane.
Woohoo.
You guys have dealt a lot of damage to this thing very quickly.
I really hope it's not dead before it gets back to my turn.
Hisoka.
Isn't it somebody else's turn before me?
Oh yeah, Arashi. That's right. I didn't have him in the list, so I forgot.
I mean, we can forget it because I'm super excited to do something stupid. But
Yes.
but you know,
Well, he actually missed.
Give
so
your collection of competent bodyguards a chance to save your life first.
Arashi whips the Bicento back around and slices down, but the ogre manages to just get after having just been beat on by everyone at this point, just manages to get the flail up and entangling it with the Bicento, which makes it Hisoka's turn.
Okay, so I'm going to attack it because clearly we've surrounded it and it's fine. Everything is good.
You're like a noble huntsman when all of his bodyguards have got the boar locked down.
I mean, a little bit.
A wounded animal is at much lower capacity to injure people.
So, I think that's right. 25.
That hits it exactly.
Okay. And apparently I get a free raise on damage for this. So,
which is an extra 1, keep 0.
Yep.
Let's see if this is better. Nope. So 45.
So the bodyguards have got this Oni locked down basically, and it's sort of like wrestling with the Bicento right now. Hisoka runs up, draws his sword, and just lunges in to stab it in the gut, and just pushes down, and you hear this low rumbling groan sound as all of its guts spill out onto your head.
William.
Damn it.
I thought I was gonna do no real damage, and then I was gonna get eaten.
You didn't get eaten. You did, however, get covered in Oni guts.
I mean, that's a thing.
Ogre and trail bath.
You don't understand. I get to roll 10, keep 10 for a full attack while I'm raging.
No, I'm sorry. I legitimately thought I wouldn't do any real.
So I need both Akane and Hisoka though to roll me Earth Ring.
I didn't think 2 of my dice would explode on damage.
32.
Akane's fine. Earth Ring, yes.
Also with Jade, I've got
6.
42, I think. You got 16 with your Jade on you.
Oh no.
6.
Oh
That's 16 with the jade pendant around your neck darkens,
Yeah.
but you're fine. As Hisoka is now covered in this blackened purplish ichor from the inside of the ogre.
So what you're saying is Hisoka's horrifically bad decision resulted in no negative consequences. Excellent. That works out so well for 16-year-olds.
I'm invincible.
Pretty much.
Yeah, this ogre sort of Arashi sort of connects with his Bicento and slides it down off to one side, so it doesn't fall and crush Hisoka.
Now I have an out of character question for Hisoka.
Okay.
Were you attempting to disembowel it, or was that just seemed like the easiest way to get your blade out? That's what I thought. Okay, cool.
Okay, well, no, here's the problem is there is no disembowel roll, so I can't functionally say yes. Was he trying to kill it? Yes.
Okay.
Just so happened to disembowel.
Was the specific move of his intentional? I don't know.
Okay, good to know.
So I do have to note that I have to spend a void point to end my rage early.
Spend it.
Yeah, I do. I could not, but the thing is, if I don't end my rage early, I can't do anything but fight. I can only fight.
So Akane, sort of staring at this dead body, just You just feel the heat billowing off of her as she forces herself to calm down.
It's just that moment of you've got the complete eyes of death staring at you, and they just kind of shift and look at Hisoka as he takes what was going to be her next kill.
Who is completely not paying attention at the moment and would be totally vulnerable to attack.
Yeah. And like her eyes are still glowing a bright red, and then there's just this visible intake of breath as the eyes dim, and she just stops.
Hayato's gonna walk over and just sort of clap a hand on Hisoka's shoulder, probably getting a shit ton of blood on his open palm in the process.
Yep.
Kisaki-sama, your father, I believe, would be very proud. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you. Little
Do I have to make an
actually
earth ring
did anything.
test for touching a ogre blood soaked?
Yes, you do actually.
Oh, okay.
No, no.
I just want to see what the roll would have been. Hang on.
To murder me?
And
Yeah.
then the
Oh, to
damage
kill
the damage roll would have been
You would have done
So
less
that's a
damage.
15 on my earth ring.
You actually wouldn't have killed it, William.
15 on my earth ring.
You're fine.
Am I getting?
No,
okay.
you're fine.
Yeah.
Your
And then he'll sort
your
of
jade
look down
pendant does darken though.
Okay. And then he'll look down at his palm and just sort of wipe it off on the grass.
You notice as you pull your palm away, the grass just instantly curls up and dies.
Should we move this out of here?
I murmur a brief apology to the Kodama.
that would have been 39 total.
It's roughly at this point, as the adrenaline leaves those of you that were directly in combat. This thing doesn't smell good.
No.
It didn't smell good before it was dead, but now that its guts are all over the place, it smells a lot worse.
Should we maybe move it out of our campsite?
Unfortunately, I
think
believe
that's against
that
the
would
rules.
be rather hazardous to do. It would likely be best if we burned it where it lies.
Burning it
Look at-
here. What are the odds of setting fire to anything?
Yeah, I
Um,
look at yes, Hinata.
We can clear stuff out around it.
I will look. The Kodama are back.
no, they have not returned yet.
Do I have any idea? I can't pyroblast it, but
I'm flaming katana.
Give me a spellcasting roll.
spellcraft
Yes,
or
spellcraft.
spellcasting with a
Spellcraft.
spell.
Spellcraft.
11.
You know the right to sort of sanctify the body, as it were, to prevent it from spreading taint. After that, burning it would probably be the best plan. Like clearing out the brush around it and just burning it.
If we can, I believe we can do so without harming the forest. So after I perform the rites, it should be burned to protect the forest. So I'll do that.
And there's just this heavy metal sound as Arashi buries his Bicento in the ground and starts digging a trench around the body while you move up to perform rites.
Hato goes to look for more downed wood, like he did earlier
Hinata
this
pulls
evening.
out a few scrolls, a few talismans. And now Akane's eyes aren't the ones that are glowing. Hinata's are. As these glowing red eyes as she just performs the rites.
So before that, really quick.
sorry.
So it's gonna. That's okay. Soka's going to just a minute before you get started. Go get extra his Luckily, in equipment pack, there is extra clothing. Let's rip off what he's wearing, do what he can to get cleaned up, put that on, and take the rest of the clothes he was wearing at the time and put it there as well. Because that's all going to be tainted as fuck.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's not Hisoka's.
Yeah, Hisoka throws his tainted clothes onto the pile, and Hinata does the sanctifying ritual of the space, while Arashi digs a trench, and Hayato gathers wood. It doesn't take too long for these tasks to be done, and you've got a body prepared. Just needs to be lit on fire.
And that's what I have a flaming sword for.
He did that. Hisoka's like, no, I've got to steal another thing that you can do. It's okay,
Pull
I've
out the
got
sword
it.
and
Brought
Hisoka's
the sword.
already
Just-
there with flint
just-
and tinder.
I'm kidding. He doesn't.
I
do
like
that.
to imagine that Hisoka is at least pulling it out of his bag as this.
Yeah.
Just like pulling it. Like I got. Oh yeah.
So Akane uses the blade to set the body and the tinder that's been used to kindle it on fire.
And the body goes up. And there is a foul-smelling pyre. But a pyre
No,
nonetheless.
Hinata will just watch to ensure it goes up, to ensure no harm comes to the forest more than is absolutely necessary.
Yeah, the trench that was dug around it is wide enough that it's not going to spread, at least along the forest floor. And the trees are high enough up that it's not going to be too big a deal.
Akane, after she sets the corpse ablaze, sheaths the sword and goes back to the stump where they had first encountered the Kodama and just kind of says aloud to the air, "Sorry about that. It's gone now."
After a few moments, you hear this sound as one of the cups that had been sort of abandoned on the ground suddenly has a Kodama back in it again. And then after it sort of looks around, wiggles its arms, and after a few moments, and all the Kodama just sort of pop back up out of the earth underneath their little cups.
Hinata will offer another prayer of whatever the appropriate variant of "sorry about that, hope you're all okay" is.
Sure. Just sort of a generic prayer in that particular case. All right.
Hisoka's like, well, that went well.
Is everyone
Considering.
all right?
But-
Yes.
But they're here too, so looks like we were maybe right.
Do we know what this beast was?
Roll me. Anyone who wants to can roll me a Shadowlands lore roll.
Show. Oh, wait.
Let's try it. I know nothing ever.
No, we had
No, there isn't.
revelations about what that means
Yeah.
last week after game.
We did.
Fuck it.
This is one of the uses that you can use it for, I believe.
Whoa!
Oh, no, wait. Yeah.
16.
No, it's still going to be a penalty, but the
Yeah, but
question is
this
whether or not
is-
it's
this is
worth
what
it.
I- this
the
is what I
penalty
do.
that the investigators sometimes take because, well,
Yeah.
fuck it, knowing your enemy is important.
Yep.
Yeah.
16 from Irie, 15 from Akane, 16 from
16.
Hisoka.
Maybe
yeah.
we could roll for me.
Yeah, no. All three of you know this is an ogre, which is a type of Oni. One of the larger Shadowlands, basically sort of siege troopers. Oni are things that they'll send out in hunting packs to destroy sections of the wall, or with a lot of smaller Shadowlands creatures to attack and raid villages, and basically anything that's big and solid, they knock it down. They also like to eat people, and apparently also Kodama.
Hayato's just kind of cautiously cleaning off his Shisoru blade, which definitely does not look like a standard katana. Should we expect more of these?
The Shadowlands brings itself wherever it goes, so I would be cautious.
I will note that the thing that stands out to the three of you is these are siege creatures.
Yeah, there's no buildings around here.
I mean, there's one
We're-
you're going to.
Yeah.
Yep.
There's only one.
Yep.
I don't know if this is Shadowlands. Never mind. I don't think it would be though. How far off are we?
From roughly half a day's walk. From
So,
where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
From like a battle or tactics perspective, a reasonable range where if there were a siege of that place,
You might see the offshoots of the troops that are there.
you might see a scouting, hunting.
Yeah.
Because Hinata's not allowed to take penalties because that's disrespectful to my ancestors.
Well, if everyone is still healthy and intact,
Yes.
Yase-sama, do you sense any ill effects that have been gained from fighting this creature?
No.
Aaron.
I was speaking to your fiance.
That's why I was confused. That's what I thought you said.
I said
and then there was
Yase.
no response. No, that's what I thought you said, and then I didn't hear a response.
And
I was like,
I thought you said Hisoka and turned away because I am also doing other things.
I knew
what was
I heard
the
it right. I just wasn't. That the silence threw me off.
I just love that Hisoka just volunteered the answer.
That didn't
Sorry.
happen.
Okay.
I missed the question.
Hayato, as Yase-sama, do you sense any ill effects sustained by any of us having fought this creature?
She will sort of look around. Can I do like a basic medicine roll to see if anyone's got like a infected gash or something?
Yeah.
I know that's a little different from what's being asked, but it's step one of a thing. 31.
Akane has some injury from taking a flail hit to the side. But the only other thing you notice is that the jade pendant around Hisoka, Hayato, and Akane's necks have darkened.
Okay.
Not completely, but
Yeah,
some.
but
Hinata will. I must apologize. I may have previously miscommunicated the details of my abilities. I could individually check to be certain, but what I can say without checking more thoroughly, which of course would only be done with your permission, is that it does seem that the pendants are still receiving Shadowland. As Aaron tries to find a way to phrase this,
Protecting
the
from the
pendants are
Shadowlands.
still standing between you and the corruption. And she will. Hayato asked, so it's not that rude. She will gesture to Hayato's pendant. I suspect that was not quite so dark this morning.
He'll kind of look down at it and nod. Well then, I will leave further investigation to your expertise.
As always, if you need confirmation or assurance, I am available to thoroughly examine the possibility. And
He'll
unless
kind
Hayato
of
is pulled her
point-
aside, she's saying this like looking at everyone making the statement more generally.
He'll kind of pointedly glance over at Hisoka. I don't know if Hisoka notices him doing so. And then give a little bow to Hinata and go back up to
Hinata
sit on the
will
stump.
I mean, his perception's like his perception is his high rate score. So, fuck it. No, he doesn't.
Or maybe he
It's
does
more
and just
fun for-
assumes it's unrelated.
Yeah, it's more fun for him. It's more fun for me to play him dumb.
Akane just goes about bandaging her wounds. She's not even nicked, but
Hinata will come over as you're bandaging. Might I? Offering out a hand.
if you feel it won't be a massive expenditure, feel free.
I
It's
still
not-
need to
it's-
complete my rest and reattach myself to the world in the morning.
Well, if you don't feel like you'll be
I have-
wasting anything.
Like 10 spell slots left.
Yeah.
And
If you don't
get them back.
if you don't feel like you'll be wasting anything, go ahead.
And healing touch thing.
Whoop bump.
Which okay, only 19 wounds, but
I have one wound left.
well, you can make a medicine roll, or I can make a medicine roll if you need.
I will also just heal it over the course of the next day.
That's true.
It's true.
And Hinata will particularly probably directed at Soka, but if there's no more native me, might I return to my rest?
Of course.
Can you check, please? I go over. I'm uninjured, but I'm paranoid.
Hinata will lead Irie over to specifically to her tent if there's no objection.
Mhm.
Because medical exams are somewhat private things.
I don't know. I think that guts splashed everywhere. So just
Of course. Give me a moment while the player pulls up the full text of what
Yep.
I can do.
So, while Hinata is over examining Irie, what are the other three of you doing?
Akane, I think, is getting back to sleep
Okay.
because we haven't finished our rest.
Yeah, no, it's still watch point, and I don't think Hisoka's going to sleep anytime soon anyway. Adrenaline. So going back to watch.
Okay. The rest of the night, assuming that nobody does anything other than what's about to happen with Hinata and Irie, will pass by peacefully. So, you have your thing, Aaron?
Well, I'm just going to read it aloud if you don't mind, because I
Yeah.
can't copy and paste the text.
Go ahead.
I can share an image file with you, but it'll take a little longer. The Kitsu are descended from mystical creatures and such are able to reach across the veil between worlds and speak with their ancestors. You may make a spell casting roll as though casting a water spell against a target's willpower times 5. If successful, you learn all spiritual advantages and disadvantages, which is where Shadowland stuff is, that the individual possesses. By spending 1 void point, you may negate any one spiritual advantage an opponent possesses. That part is not relevant right now, but for a number of minutes equal to your school rank.
So, what is your willpower, Irie?
2.
So, 10. So, you have to beat a 10.
Okay. I think I can do that because that's what I have to beat to heal someone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would probably be the same roll, I would think.
Yeah. We're gonna use Bow of Water because I never actually used that one. 55.
So yeah. So let me take a look at Irie's character sheet real quick.
Yeah.
So that ability is really weird because it doesn't explicitly detect Shadowland's taint, but it detects the Shadowland's taint disadvantage.
Yep.
Which is,
Oh,
as
really?
I understand it, advantages and disadvantages are also something you can accumulate. Like if you lose an arm, you gain that disadvantage. If you get tainted by the Shadowlands, you get that disadvantage. At least that's how I read it the first 3 times we read the rules, and what the GM said.
Yep. So, Hinata, you sort of unfocus your eyes and just sort of look at Irie's aura.
There's
And
a girl with glowing eyes and a completely blank expression just staring into your soul.
and giving you like a once over, like you see the eyes scanning up and down and side to side, like, and the Irie's aura seems pure. There doesn't seem to be anything special about it. It's nothing. No, mechanically, no spiritual advantages or disadvantages.
Hinata will sort of, after this moment of, after looking up and down, just looking directly into the eyes and inside, Hinata's eyes will close. She will give a polite bow. You have nothing with which to be concerned, Kakita-san.
Good. Thank you.
Do you have any other injuries you would like me to examine?
No, it didn't actually hit me.
Of course. Please do not be concerned if you need to check again in the future. I understand that it can be disconcerting.
A bit. Yeah. Thank you, though.
Womp womp.
Of course.
All right.
I don't sleep well.
So the rest of the night
As
passes.
well, actually,
Hayato.
as Irie leaves, Hayato is going to wander over. Is Hinata inside her tent, or was this like outside?
The tent's probably like a slightly open, enough to provide privacy, but not like closed for the night.
Okay.
And Hinata's like little candles still on.
Mm-hmm. Hayato is going to. Actually, he's going to have stealthed over because his watch is over. Let me see how good he is there. Wow, only a 29.
Oh my god. I really want Ahsoka to make a roll on that, but I understand why he may not.
I feel like this type of sneaking might not be sneaking in aiding your clan or your lord.
Depends on what he asks.
And then he's going to just kind of camp out nearby.
Okay.
And sleep for the rest of the night, a little ways away in a somewhat concealed position.
You had to make it weird.
He got a 12 on his willpower roll. That's pretty good for him.
That's awesome.
So, the morning comes, and with the morning, the dew and morning light trickling through the branches above, the still fading smell of burnt Oni carcass. Looking over, you see that actually the spot where the Oni was burned is still blackened, but there's nothing really left but the sulfurous, thank you, sulfurous odor. Like there's not even like any bones or anything left.
Mm-hmm.
I'll do one last little bit of precautionary purification.
Mhm.
Only so much you can do in this instance,
It's
but
true. And so, do you pack up and continue on?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yep.
So, the group of you get your stuff together and continue heading down the mountain, through the woods, traveling in the direction of the Dragonfly clan estate. Is there anything that you have about a half a day's walk before you get there? Is there anything you're doing in the meantime?
Hayato's going to keep an eye out for any animals or herbs that might be poison-ish.
Give me a hunting check.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Just walking.
23.
Hinata's also looking out for animals, but more like any notable migration of animals away from the place we're headed, as most natural creatures will run away when the Shadowlands come, because the Shadowlands is big and scary and kills them.
Hayato, you managed to see growing, sort of a little bit of the ways, what appears to be a purple flower. That sort of has large purple leaves and sort of a green inner pod.
Do I know which, given my knowledge of crafting poisons, do I know which bits of this plant?
Give me a lore check. Whatever an appropriate lore check might be, if you have one. Or just a general one if you don't.
I have a craft poison.
Sure, give me that.
Okay, sure, and that's based on intelligence, so...
Yeah.
14?
This is aconite, also known as wolfsbane or monkshot. It is an incredibly deadly poison. Mechanically applied, this it's basically earth ring rolls, or it's stamina rolls. So once this is applied over the course of a week, you make a stamina roll every 3 hours. And every time you fail a stamina roll over the course of the week, your stamina reduces by 1.
Okay.
When your stamina hits 0, you die.
Right. Yeah, I'll harvest the hell out of that.
I'm looking out for Shadowlands creatures because I'm jumpy.
Yeah. Worth noting, aconite does nothing. Aconite does nothing in when you hit somebody with it.
Right.
And it does nothing upon first contact.
Right.
A couple
it's
hours
an
later, there's a
assassination
thing.
poison.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an ingestion.
Oh yeah,
poison.
and what is its application technique?
It
Ingestion?
can be applied. You actually have to be very carefully about picking it up, because once powdered, it can be ingested, and any liquid that it's put in, can cause. It can also infect via the skin.
Contact poison.
Yeah, it's both it can be ingested or on contact.
Okay.
Once it's been powdered.
All right.
You can powder it, put it on a dart, and then shoot someone with the dart.
Yeah. And they basically have to make stamina saves for a week to live.
Right. Cool. So yeah, he'll harvest that, but we will wait to powder it until
you get. How much of it are you wanting? Because there are a couple of growths of this.
3 attempts.
You can easily get 3 applications of it. You could get more if you wanted to, but it'd be more dangerous to gather because you'd be filling your pack with it, and it's not something you want to accidentally brush your hand against.
Right. Yeah. No, he'll get enough for hopefully basically 3 crafting rolls.
Yeah, you can get enough for that easily.
Okay.
I like the idea that this incredibly poisonous flower is what we use to try and control werewolves.
Well, if it's dead, it's definitely not going to turn into a werewolf.
That is not how anything.
You are absolutely right, Aaron. fine. You are
Do
absolutely
I see
right.
tiny animals running away? Do I see a Hayato picking flowers?
And I'm looking
I
for
realize
Shadowlands
that one of
creatures
those
because I'm
things is
jumpy.
significantly impossible to see. But
Give me a investigation roll.
okay,
Should I make the same one or
Sure.
am I? Okay.
Anyone who wants to can.
investigate.
I am now trained in investigation.
Were
Of all
you
of you people.
Only
17.
24.
stealthing
Sure,
to
why
find
not?
this stuff, Hayato?
Nope.
So yeah, no. You definitely see Hayato stopping to pick some purple flowers.
Okay.
And you actually don't see any animals.
Like I don't see any animals retreating, or I see a notable lack of
You see a notable absence of animals.
Can I get a follow-up hunting roll to see if I can find animal tracks, know how old
Sure.
the last ones might be?
Yeah.
I'm good at hunting things. Good at hunting and battle. 48.
So you don't find any animal tracks. You do find tracks though, just not ones you would not ones that belong to the animal you're familiar with. You find several large footprints. Like if somebody had basically taken a manhole cover and pressed it down into the dirt multiple times, as if they were feet. And in addition,
Kind of like the things that
yeah, kind of like the
thing we
thing that
just
you just
wa-
killed. Yeah, kind of. You also see several small humanoid-ish feet. They're ostensibly the same as a human foot in boots, but with what you could only imagine claw marks, sort of like just beyond it where you figure the toes are.
Pardon the interruption, but I think this might be something to take a look at.
And you sort of bring everybody over and
Yeah, show the
Yes.
prints.
so yeah, you all see these disparate footprints, well, prints of some kind.
I've been out hunting past the wall a couple of times. It's what I was good at. I wasn't good at defending the wall itself. Do I recognize these?
Give me a knowledge Shadowlands.
That is rather
17.
disconcerting.
The big ones are ogres.
Yeah.
That you can tell. The smaller ones look like bakemono. Goblins.
Goblins, yeah.
They are small, vicious, intelligent creatures that who infest the Shadowlands in seemingly limitless numbers. They're humanoid, but much smaller, with spindly limbs, oversized heads. Their hands and feet are clawed.
If I recall correctly, Bakemono, like Kappas, aren't actually Shadowlands creatures, but they ally themselves with the Shadowlands.
No, bakemono are Shadowlands creatures.
They are? Okay.
They are they're generally believed to have been created by Fu Leng, the Dark Kami, as a replacement for men. Once the Shadowlands wiped everybody else out.
Okay. Because I know there are some supernatural creatures that are completely not related to the Shadowlands.
Yeah, like the
whatsoever.
Kappa, like the Kappa and a few and like ghosts and things. But no, the Bakemono are the Shadowlands' answers to mankind.
They're Sauron's orcs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, this looks like a military force, and ogre for sieging, followed by goblin foot soldiers.
That's concerning.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like a small detachment. There might be more. I suspect if we might want to make haste to the Dragonfly Fort.
Quite concerning. Which is Hayato's version of, gee, you think?
Right?
So, do you
Yes, let's go.
double time?
Yes.
Yeah.
So the group of you begin rushing through the forest trying to get to your destination. And after a couple of hours of moving as quickly as you can without exhausting yourselves, you find yourselves exiting the forest. And on the edge of the forest, you look out across a field. In the distance, you see the Dragonfly Estate on fire. Yes.
Somehow I knew that was going to be the response.
In the distance, you see more of these massive Oni forms digging out rubble and dirt from the ground and lobbing boulders at the walls. You see flaming arrows launching back out from the walls in reply. Just looking out, you see about a dozen ogres. Another creature that's much larger, this much larger purple-skinned, green-haired figure that seems almost partially eternally shrouded in mist, sort of standing in sort of a commander's position. Next to him, a few more humanoid, at least one humanoid-sized shape, and a few dozen smaller humanoid shapes, all wearing armor and wielding katana or other weapons of that kind, as they are sort of propped up behind impromptu barricades that these fiery arrows are raining down on, and then in return raining boulders back at it in what appears to be some sort of protracted siege.
Well, if you want Dragonfly reinforcements, we're going to have to do something about that.
Yes.
Very well.
There's a lot of them.
You are not incorrect.
Welcome to the battlefield, Irie.
It's totally fine, guys. We are... Clearly, I'm a master swordsman. I slaughtered an ogre. No, I'm kidding.
I assume the most straightforward strategy, then, would be to have our Yaijutsu master challenge that Oni to a duel. Very brief half smile.
Akane very widely smirks, but then she does draw Shinohana and just points it forward. That one, she says, pointing at the very large ogre, or the very large Oni, looks like a leader. If we want to do anything vital with just our small numbers, we need to take out important figures.
If a duel would work.
So...
Now seeing the entire sort of deployment of this Shadowlands force, Hayato can probably fairly clearly pick out ogre, that's something bigger and different, right?
Yes.
And how many ogres can we see, roughly, from here?
About 12.
About a dozen?
Yeah.
Yep.
All
sort of spaced out with lots of these smaller figures between them and around them.
All of us rather swiftly defeated one of those last evening.
Mm-hmm.
But given that there are a dozen of them that are apparently subservient to the large one, gives me pause as far as our numbers are concerned.
Can I make a battle roll to see if the leader seems like he's well protected, or is he like at the back calling orders, not expecting anyone to come from behind?
Sure, you can make a battle roll. And Aaron, you've been trying to say something. What's going on?
I was trying to ask that, if I could make a battle roll.
Sure, make battle rolls.
34.
Because for some reason, I don't think Cotier is the what is appropriate in this context role with dealing with the shadow.
No, it isn't.
41.
So the first thing that strikes you about this formation is that none of the ogres are next to each other. Just sort of as a general sort of surveying the battlefield, all of the ogres are spaced out like you might space out a catapult in a more traditional siege. Each of them guarded by 20 or so of these goblinoid figures. The larger Oni, sort of in the back, is surrounded by as many of those small goblins, but also has a few more human-sized individuals near it. So it seems like the Oni definitely seems to be calling the shots, at least to the ogres. Whether or not they're calling shots for the whole battle, I mean, they are definitely in a leadership position. They are not undefended, but they are not surrounded by ogres.
Like
The ogres
would
are
we have-
spaced out.
like separating these as individual units, basically.
Yeah.
Is the unit that is the Oni and its bodyguards exposed, or would we have to fight through more units to get to them?
They are surrounded by defensive barricades. They're not. So the units are sort of spread out in a V. Like if you imagine the opening of the V is pointed towards the castle, and
Yeah.
so
They're sort of semicircling around the.
they're bullhorns are towards the thing and lobbing things, and the Oni in charge is sort of at the back of the V.
Yeah. So theoretically, we could get straight to his unit without interacting with the rest of their forces, but we have to get through his unit and his barricades.
Yes.
And we're estimating about a dozen ogres, an Oni, probably a couple hundred goblins, and then whatever these humanish sized.
Yeah, there's
retainers
about
are.
20 goblins to each ogre, and 20 goblins to the Oni,
Hmm.
and then a couple of these humanish
Which is
sized
260-ish.
Yep.
Okay.
Do I have a guess as to how fast the other forces would react if we attacked any one unit?
Traditional battlefield, and Hinata, you would know all this as well with your role. Traditional battlefield tactics would say the closest ones would definitely turn to engage, while the further ones out would likely remain on course if their intention is to lay siege. So you'd probably end up dealing with 3 of these units, just sort of the two closest units and the Oni's unit. And, of course, there is sort of a constant return fire of arrows that are sort of raining down onto the barricades.
So then my question becomes, is it wiser to, in my opinion, as someone who's been in a few of these battles before because they siege the wall regularly, would it be wiser to start straight for the head or pick one side and cut our way up the lines?
Hayato's looking at this and saying, is it at all viable for
Yeah,
a group
like,
of
that's
5
my
people
question.
to engage an entrenched attacking foe
Is
under any circumstances? He got a 36.
this
So
is a
Hinata-
remotely winnable fight?
Hinata?
You're not just trying to figure out if there's. I don't know if the previous rule stands or if I'll need to make a new one, but essentially, is there a way without undue risk sounds bad, but without just charging in and probably dying, is there, given it does seem like the fortress is still firing back, something we could do that essentially would help the actual large force?
Okay. So going in order, real quick. Starting with Hayato. Hayato, theoretically, if you were very good and everything went according to plan, yes, the group of you could take out this entire armed force. Theoretically. If everything went perfect, and you planned it perfectly, yes.
I'm so glad that the person who is potentially who is actually capable of being deceptive found that information out, because the second that comes out of Hisoka's mouth, I have a feeling that Ren's just gonna run in.
Oh no, Ren's been on the battlefield before, unlike most of you.
Hisoka?
That is not fair. I'm a fucking Lion Clan character.
That's fair. I said unlike most of you, not unlike all of you.
Hisoka,
Yes.
similarly, you have read stories of battles where a small but fierce group of trained fighters have won the day over a vastly superior force. You're not certain how they did it, you just know they did it.
They followed their dreams.
Um,
No, they
Akane,
did lots of screaming, if anime is anything to go by.
Akane, with all of those caveats attached,
Yeah.
if disrupting the outer lines would seem more correct, like whittling away at the harrying the external forces, trying to pick off as many as you could, maybe drawing them out into the woods where you have more cover and thus more
Akane's goal
seasoned
is not to cut this entire army down with her own sword. It's to disrupt their forces enough that those inside the keep can fight back.
Yeah, that might be a thing you could do, but you'd have to. It would be risky because you don't really have a whole lot of ranged options that are threatening enough to draw them out. Hinata, if you could, so the Lion Clan would say, wipe out half of them and run away, and the other half should follow, and you can get a terrain advantage and wipe them out then. The Lion Clan would also typically have a lot more Bushi than you currently have.
The Lion Clan would also have access to actual battle-tagged spells, which I'm very good at, but aren't available at lower levels.
Yeah, you think there might be a way for you to get into the estate through the siege. You don't know if that'll help other than putting more bodies in the siege. But if there is a way for you to help them out, and if there is a possibility, if you guys, same thing, if you're smart enough and good enough, you can theoretically break the siege from the outside with the small force that you have. But it's a risk, and it'll be challenging.
I really like the idea of us showing up inside. Greetings! We are here to tax your food research.
But yeah, you could theoretically get inside. The biggest thing that and so all of you would know, just looking at it, the biggest hurdle you have to overcome here is the number of goblins, drawing them away from each other so they don't surround and kill you, and not also getting hit by the flaming arrows coming from the estate.
So what Akane says,
now I mute my mic and let you guys argue.
Yeah, as Akane has her blade pointed across the battlefield, she sweeps it down to the regiment that is nearest to us on the side. We don't have the numbers to fight all of this army. What we can do is disrupt them. We can skirmish and harry some of their forces, potentially draw goblins off of one of the Oni and kill it. If we can disrupt enough of their forces, it will allow the Dragonfly to fight back a little more effectively. I think first course of action needs to be to stop at least one of the ogres from continuously hurling boulders at the walls.
With all due respect, Ixren-san, they have a significant advantage. We would need to eliminate nearly half of the army in order to get a proper advantage for the Dragonfly.
Well, we have to start somewhere.
Like I said, if you need a duelist, and I look straight at Hisoka.
I don't know that.
With respect, I don't think we're doing any dueling of anyone on this field.
John, from what I can see of this battlefield, are any of the the extreme flanking units, are they close enough to any level of forest or cover where one could employ archery from a covered position?
The farthest, the farthest down, if you're looking at it from the back end where you guys are, the left-hand farthest part of the V is fairly close to the woods. You're not certain. It's sort of at the edge of effective bow range.
Okay.
So it may or may not be viable.
Okay. he'll mention that as an option, that he could fire from cover and at least on the left-hand flank tentatively disrupt, and then being undercover probably be able to get away without too much trouble should they literally turn and charge him.
How many arrows do you have?
Of standard quality, currently, as I go look at my 25.
How many goblins are in each section?
20.
About 20.
20.
Piece of cake.
If you can, I will offer this. If you can, from the forest line, begin to whittle down the goblins' numbers from the back, trying to draw as little attention to your attack as possible. When the reduced numbers begin to approach, the rest of us can lie in wait to strike. And then retreat and force them to either follow further into the forest or return to the battlefield where you can return to your sniping position.
Very well. I have enough
Would the
arrows,
forest
potentially
actually
for
be more
1
advantageous for us, John?
Yes, the forest would. With the forest, you have places you can dodge and duck and not get hit by boulders. Like that, and that's one of the reasons why all of you sort of keyed into smaller forces have defeated forces much larger before, by using the terrain, hiding in forests and making them come to them where they don't have the advantage of open fields, things like that.
Just remember the 5 Ds of skirmishing. Dodge, dip, duck, whatever it is, and dodge.
Dodge, dip, duck, dive, dodge.
Yes.
Theoretically, not that most of you would be interested in this, you could also set traps in the forest.
Mm.
No.
Do we have traps?
As a matter of
No,
fact,
but I
you
bet
do.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. I collected some of those.
Our ninja has traps. It might
Yes,
be better
I do.
to say.
I have 5. I think I have 5 snares.
Did you tell us that you collected those?
Oh, yeah. No, I collected them like right the fuck in front of you guys. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, Otto, you still have those snares?
Indeed, I do.
Just for clarification, isn't that a dishonorable form of combat?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not a dishonorable form of catching bunnies, but
think
it is a
that is
dishonorable form
yes.
of combat.
It is a dishonorable form of combat.
So
The question is-
completely oblivious to even the possibility, because he never would have considered it. Why?
Because these are Shadowlands creatures, and we need every advantage we have against them.
Our advantage is our honor.
Our advantage is
would
staying
agree.
alive.
I agree. Honor is a great advantage. Yase-sama. You are a
Yes.
knowledgeable individual, as are you, Kisaki-sama. Let us retreat to the cover of the trees, and the pair of you can establish a good site for an ambush against the eventual charge that our enemies will level against us, where you will be able to tactically meet them on better footing. All of which is 100% true, and he is not saying
That's a
anything.
courtier roll or a sincerity
Yeah.
roll, right?
I feel like that's an investigation role.
Sure.
Yeah. I think it's an investigation for
We're
us.
worth
Oh,
noting,
Jesus, that is
and
terrible.
I just want to clarify for the audience. In L5R, you can willingly do things that would penalize your honor. That's not a mechanical restriction. That's
Yeah.
just these characters.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Akane is great with honor until you're dealing with Shadowlands, because that's when it goes out the window and you need to survive.
I just wanted to make it
Unfortunately-
clear.
Hisoka can't lie and has the virtuous advantage, and take that as character traits as you will. So anyone So that roll from Hayato is actually a. I get
That's
anyone
so.
making a social skill roll to lie or deceive adds 10 to their difficulty.
That is
He's
not,
not lying or trying to
that's,
deceive.
that's a persuasion.
He's
roll
attempting
is
to
what he's doing.
manipulate somewhat,
Yeah.
but
That okay, honestly, what's the difference between manipulation and deception?
manipulation is presenting a very full truth in a way that is the most enticing. He's not trying to hide anything. He's
If
trying to put the best foot
I
forward
have
and
cake
choose
and also
his idea.
carrots, and I know you're on a diet. Just saying, I have a cake, it's the thing that I made. Is not technically a lie, but it is very deceptive.
For for purposes of mechanics, your ability works on sincerity rolls that are used to try to convince you of something that is not true, or try to hide information from you.
Okay.
What Hayato is doing is making a courtier roll to present an option that is most appealing, not to hide something from you or lie to you. He still only rolled a 16, so
Yeah, no, I know. I'm just saying that we're going to have a discussion at some point about the difference between manipulation and deception.
Okay.
And I
I
get
am
plus
totally here for that
5 to my
conversation.
roll for plus 5
Yep.
to my roll for contested rolls
Sure.
and like a free raise on investigation. So I've got like plus 96 or something ridiculous.
Delightful. Please
That's like
So, yeah.
a 59.
So yeah, both of you are acutely aware that Hayato failed to mention what he and the others would be doing with this plan.
Hinata will. If there's nothing further we can gain from observing the fight, retreating to a safe distance within the trees, I would agree is a sound strategy. But of course, I defer to you in this, Kazaki-san.
They need our assistance, and if we retreat and any of them have seen us and we come back to ask for aid.
That's not an invalid point.
So, what Hinata is trying to suggest is we go back to the tree line, so while we're arguing about this, the Oni don't see us, not that we don't help the dragonfly. I just wasn't able to say that because Hinata's talking.
No, I'm thinking, no, that's, yes, absolutely.
we will not retreat. We will never
Soka
retreat.
is now thinking,
Not retreat, sir. Redeploy.
As that was pointed out, backing off into could very well, yeah.
Let's move back
But
a
I'm
few
just
feet, guys.
I'm just watching the largest one and trying to size it up. Eyeball.
Can I duel that Oni?
Yes.
Well, so just from where you're standing, looking at it, it looks like it could probably pick up a Torii gate and hit you with it.
Mm-hmm.
So probably not.
Okay.
For those of you who don't know, Torii gates are those large H-shaped gateways that are at Shinto shrines, which are massive in size.
What we need is an allied Nokagiri to just make it look like there's no doors on
So-
this place.
Let's.
I mean, Nurakabe.
Nurikabe, whatever it is. I don't know my names yet.
So do you all move back to the tree
feel like
line?
we still have some discussion to have. So yes, let's back up for the moment.
Head back.
Just for the next 7 hours, we're going to be arguing this. No, the next, just for a very short time while we figure out what we're going to do.
So
All right. Yes.
Arashi
will
and
definitely-
Suzume back up to the tree line. Suzume seems to be playing with something like that she pulled out of her bag.
I'm curious what that is, and I'm not paying attention to this conversation because I have one goal here, and that's to duel things.
Give me an investigation check.
Yeah. 20.
It's some sort of. It looks like sand, but black.
She stole some shit when we were in Mantis Clan territory.
Or Unicorn Clan territory.
Or Unicorn, yes.
What's that?
Oh, it's just something I picked up in that town we were at. It's like sort of pouring it into a small clay pot.
Given my connection to the unicorn,
God
Give me
damn it.
you don't know she didn't honestly buy it while pretending to be Unicorn Clan. Can I make a roll to determine what it is now that it has been brought up?
Give me a it'd be a Unicorn Clan lore roll.
Yeah.
Actually, I
Untrained
have
lore,
Unicorn
got it.
lore, so I can actually make.
Six whole point.
Mm. Neither one of you know what it is.
Yeah.
It's just it looks like it looks like she's just sort of pouring black sand into a clay pot.
Just for fun, because you never know, I might roll some. 15?
No idea what it is.
Yeah, I
Okay.
would have to make a 20 to recognize Gaijin Pepper.
So then I ignore that. PDSM brings up a very good point. No, well, a lot of good points there, but specifically,
Why do you keep doing that?
what?
It's a surprise.
Just never mind. Carry on.
Okay, I'm trying to specifically oh Jesus. Completely lost my train of thought.
Kakita-san makes a good point.
Yes,
but
no, I'm
specifically-
trying to, because I had an argument crafted and it's
Was
it's
it
okay, it's okay. It's
was
fine.
it related around the use of
Not
snares?
No. Specifically, it's going. I feel like it will probably be a lot more difficult to draw forces into the tree line, which is clearly a more defensible position. And we might not actually be able to make an impact by doing that.
Unless we have some sort of lure that's that interesting to them.
Enticing.
Well, if they have, if enough of their forces surrounding one of their ogres are falling to an archer in the forest, and they don't try to move closer, then they're simply allowing their soldiers to be killed.
Well, I will be sort of as skilled as some of us may be. How many can we reasonably actually take down, and how much, more specifically? And I legitimately don't know the answer to this, so you may be able to provide some insight. But how much are the ogres going to care about the lower ends of their being picked off one by one?
So one, do I know how easy it is to kill a goblin?
Give me a Shadowlands low roll. Also, your microphone sounds like it's connecting, disconnecting, or switching you back and forth. But you're going soft and loud and soft again. With an 11, goblins are not typically all that hard to kill. Their threat is their numbers more than anything else. They're not very powerful. They're not very durable, I should say. If a lot of them are around you stabbing you with knives, then you will die quickly. But one-on-one, it's not that difficult to deal with a goblin.
And then 2, I feel like I know the answer to this, but an ogre losing all of its protection is something that it would probably notice.
With any so that's actually a tricky question. With a standard battlefield arrangement, yes, a commander losing its troops would have an issue. Shadowlands creatures, it's hard to say. Most of the time, Shadowlands creatures don't organize this much. They typically just throw themselves at the wall or at a caravan or whatever they can get at, trying to eat as much of it as they can. They haven't ever really attacked the wall this organized before. Not without a lost leading them, at least.
But as far as I know, the goblins are sort of like Tolkien's orcs in that regular soldiers kill them in 2 or 3s at a time.
Yeah.
Well, to answer you on the Bakemono, they are fodder. The forces of the Shadowlands produce them en masse, but their only true threat is their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
If we can pick them off slowly and draw handfuls of them away, they can be dealt with swiftly. To answer you on the second part, in most battlefield situations, if your siege equipment is left unguarded, this is a danger. With the Shadowlands, this is a difficult question to answer. This kind of organization is unusual without a lost being at the head, which is another question that is raised to me that becomes concerning.
Though, might I, if the defenses of one of their essentially catapults were to go and they were not to respond in what might be conventional means, that may be something that those within the fortress would be able to capitalize on, though betting on them not responding to a loss of numbers is probably misleading.
But at the moment, the only thing we can do for this battlefield is harry. We don't have the forces to stage a full-on assault.
Of course not.
You mentioned the possibility of a loss.
I'm not close enough to identify if those small humanoids near the Oni are lost.
I don't know if there's any sort of role I can make for, like, Hinata has a pretty good idea of the battle positions where a lost could be commanding from or hiding among the forces.
Probably right next to that big Oni.
Okay. You said the big Oni was central, sort of, while they're evenly spaced, or he's sort of in the back?
So, like, if you imagine each of the units as a big square, with the siege units in the middle, like a square of goblins with an ogre in the middle, square, 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 all the way in the back of the V. Same thing, but the bigger Oni instead of a siege ogre. In the middle of the square of goblins. So there are 13 units total. 6 going out to the left, 6 going out to the right, with the 13th at the very back forming a V.
Okay.
At the very back is where the large Oni is, in the middle of that block of goblins.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And the humanoid figures
6,
that were seen from a distance seem
7.
to be next to that big Oni as well. Amongst the goblins.
This is not, like, completely good, but like this that is being drawn.
Yeah, I'm thinking, because I actually have a character who's good at battlefield tactics. I have so many plans, but they're all dishonorable.
Dishonorable plans
Welcome
are fine.
to Rokugan.
And many of them involve the possibility of a hang glider, because clearly I've been watching too much Magic Kaito.
Hayato, there's a tap on your head as Suzume kicks you. Just thunk.
Yes.
Here. And she holds out a small clay pot that's been packed and like corked with a fuse, with like a wick basically coming out of it.
Very well. And when and how would one employ this jar thing?
Light it, throw it, and pray to the kami.
Akane kind of looks at it.
Very well.
Interesting.
She sort of
whoosh,
hands.
kinda
She sort of hands you 6 of these.
Oh shit!
That's what Irie was responding to when she said, "Why do you keep doing that?" Because she was just sitting up on Arashi's shoulder, going,
Just packing fucking grenades.
"Tink."
Well,
So,
Akane-sama, I
with
believe
any
you and I will have to
conflict-
be deployed in close proximity. Because it takes a while to strike a spark with flint and tinder.
Yeah, I know. That's why I have a flaming sword.
Hold out your sword. Light. And he'll just sort of try and stash those in his Ashigaru.
She does say, "Don't let him hit the ground."
Understood.
And don't be near them when they go off.
damn,
Are
that's
there
a
any other-
lot. That's a lot of units.
Taboos regarding these jars.
Don't get hit with a flaming arrow.
What will they do?
It's a surprise.
What will they do?
Give me a courtier roll.
Is this interrogation?
I mean, I feel like this is an investigation interrogation role.
You're trying to convince her to say something, not see if she's lying, though.
I thought seeing if she's lying was.
That's
Never mind,
that's
sorry.
investigation interrogation.
I'll go back to drawing battle maps.
1 keep for +1 keep 0 for all contested rolls for courtier. 29.
Here's a size. It's stuff I picked up from the unicorn. It blows up when the fuse goes down. Big fire.
How big?
Smooth.
Don't know.
Big?
Oh,
Could
okay.
these be placed and then hit with a flaming arrow, or would that be?
Yeah, I mean, that'd be a little less reliable, but yeah.
Also, that would imply getting closer to the enemy forces.
Without getting attacked.
What they
Fly
told
heavy
what they
flaming
told
arrows.
me what they told me was you light it and throw it, and it makes Shadowlands things go away. It also
Yes,
makes
this-
lots of other things go away.
This could actually be very useful for thinning out the numbers around that first ogre.
I'm very sorry, everybody. What is the honor level of this use? John?
What is the honor level of using black powder weapons?
Yes. Like, how does that factor in?
I
When-
was gonna say, do I know what the social taboos around it are? Because I know I didn't recognize seeing it.
Yeah, so the question is, like, do we know what the
give-
taboo is?
Give me etiquette rolls.
I mean, I would say what is in terms of explosive type things.
That's fair. That might
Mechanically,
be what it's
mechanically using black powder is a low
Right.
skill.
Right.
But
Um,
knowledge of what black powder is and the taboo is something really only known on in battlefield situations, and neither of you have really been
that's fair.
in a
I'm
battlefield
assuming-
situation before.
I'm assuming courtesy doesn't apply as an emphasis.
No, it wouldn't be courtesy. This is sort of an etiquette. Do you know?
Courtesy of throwing
Do you
grenades
know
of these
the general opinion on it?
33.
So you do know. So with a 33, yeah, you do know that there is something that unicorn do that is considered dishonorable on the battlefield. You don't recall it being explosion
And pyroblasting
oriented.
without a spell seems like a possibility.
You don't
Yeah.
you don't recall it being like explosion oriented. You recall it being something about a ranged weapon, something that they use to decimate cavalry. This might be related. You're not 100% certain though. Minato?
I assume I got somewhat similar information with the 30.
Yeah. Like
Related
you
question.
recall that yes, there is a thing that the unicorn
At
use.
least from my impressions of the unicorn having lived there, and is this more of a like? I realize these things are not always delineated by Rokugan Society, but Hinata does personally delineate a little bit. More of a like, this is a taboo because society, or this is a taboo because the kami don't like it very much.
This has nothing. It has nothing to do with the kami. It's all about society.
So my impression is, generally speaking, this isn't like some of those rules, like don't touch the Shadowlands and stuff like that, are things that kami sort of are a large part of the reason those are taboos.
Correct.
But okay.
In this particular case, it's a...
So there's no instant, like, don't you fucking dare.
No, in this case, it is a thing. It's a thing where it's... Generally speaking, the reason why this comes up is because it's Gaijin and, honestly, unfair.
Yeah, the big reason that samurai...
Yeah.
So...
The big reason samurai hate black powder is they think it takes no skill.
Yeah.
In this context, it may not be terribly appropriate, but I myself cannot... My connection to the affinity of fire is more limited. While I can call upon the fire kami in some capacity, I'm much more restricted in what I can ask of them. I cannot ask them to burn down an army. This seems to be a reasonable substitute for that function.
Very well.
So,
shall we find an area of deployment then?
Question about this V shape.
Mm-hmm.
Is the V shape mirroring a curve of the wall that it is attacking, or is it a V shape just...
The estate is the estate is up on a hill, and so the V shape is basically around the base of the hill.
Okay, so the V is essentially mirroring the shape. It's not.
Yeah, it's not a perfect V. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Akane signals people to follow her, and she starts moving through the forest towards a position that she sees that seems to be within arrow range at the very least. That's in the forest near the left-hand squad.
Okay.
Hayato does the same, but stealthy.
Our best chance of disrupting them
I'm doing shit on
in
myself.
a way that would be advantageous to the dragonfly is finding a way to make them break formation.
Yes, and I think the easiest way we can make them break formation is to start harassing. We need to pull forces away.
We want them to be the opposite of a Beyonce song.
Oh my god, dude.
There's a reason why I said to disrupt them that way, we'd need to cut out half of their forces. And Hinata will show... Actually, Aaron, my webcam's not good enough to catch my sketches. Never mind. Hinata will sort of... We've got the V shape of their defenses. Each with a figure inside with the most significant in the center. Of course, the outermost units, like the one we're approaching, are the most vulnerable to an outside attack. But an outside attack here, even if it completely decimated a unit or two, is not going to
disrupt the whole.
It will at best disrupt the siege's tactic, proportional to how much of the army we take out. Oh, right. William drew something on it. If we eliminate
just
this
small.
one or this one, that will not limit the formation. That will have a very minimal effect upon the formation and effectiveness of all the other troops available. Compared to if we could, even without taking out their numbers quite as significantly, pull them out of that formation in some way.
Unfortunately, this is more organized than I've seen any Shadowlands forces in most situations. I don't think we can force them to break formation
Make me
without...
another battle roll, Hinata. Because Akane has provided you with new information.
29.
You suspect that if the reason they're this organized is because a lost or something is leading them, then just skirmishing, breaking up the leadership formation might be enough to sort of make the rest lose formation. It might not be enough to stop the siege, but it might be enough to sort of make them not quite as uniform.
If they are uncharacteristically cohesive, that is the result of a strong commander's abilities.
Hayato, can I see one of those?
He'll just kind of he'll pull one out and look like he's getting ready to toss it, and then kind of stop himself halfway and very gingerly hand it to you.
Okay. She takes it.
Hinata will...
She...
Hayato, if I could speak to you privately for a moment.
These... Before that... The primary problem with attempting to go straight for the leadership would have been the danger to us. As individuals, because they are likely the most potent. But
and all of the forces would likely return to back them up if needed.
Yes. If we can make use of these to cause significant disruption without having to enter close quarters, that might be more viable.
These cannot be thrown very, very far. And yes, Yase-sama.
Yeah.
Let us step aside.
Hinata will give everyone a slight bow and private conversation with Hayato. They are excavating the ground in order to make their boulders.
As you saw.
It would seem that a convenient way for such a large entity to lose its arm would be to be holding something quite dangerous when caught fire.
Reasonably certain.
They didn't bring their own cannonballs from home. That is always an error. Cannonballs is not the correct term.
Siege ammunition, right. The unfortunate problem would be handing it to an ogre without it noticing while it's already lit on fire.
Think
Effective,
fast.
yes, but the ability to...
That was what why I was questioning. There are a few questions I might ask.
If you have
Could we
additional
stow
information.
one of these things within the ogre's stash? Could we then catch it with an arrow?
Unfortunately, I am not equipped with any flammable ammunition.
Unfortunate.
I mean, actually,
regretting not taking any fire spells that do shit.
I look back at the
The other
primary
option
formation.
could be...
Hang on real quick, William. Hang on.
The other
Though,
option could be to
Could we
attempt
catch
to...
it with an... The fortress is supplying regular fire arrows. Could we catch it with their arrows?
Potentially, if one can be found at a proper location. Alternatively, there is the ability to attempt to sneak closer to one of the less occupied units, and
You understand, of course, that is not something that is within my capabilities, but is, of course,
I
a
will speak.
tactic that is honorable for other people.
I will speak very frankly. Yes, you are quite correct. But with myself and Suzume, we may be able to deposit some of these while lit with a less obvious notification to the enemy in strategic areas. However, if we are wishing to disrupt the command unit rather than the siege attackers, that would require a specifically concentrated effort rather than a slightly more cunning stratagem of stowing it amongst their stockpiled boulders. Basically, he's saying,
both.
we're going to have to sneak across and just firebomb the shit out of the back of the V.
Yeah. Hinata will... Why not both? The main concern of attacking the center as opposed to the wings is, given their even distribution, the center has the most access to reinforcement, and assuming that the commander follows fairly standard tactics, I understand such a thing is not necessarily characteristic of the Shadowlands. Attacking the center is the most likely to receive any reinforcement.
Indeed.
But if other places experience disruption at the same time, or perhaps even a little earlier, diverting some attention away, the leaders would have access to less reinforcements and be, if not more vulnerable to a piercing and retreating attack.
Of course. Under what means would you recommend that we distract the flanks while, hypothetically, Suzume and I approach from the rear? Basically, do we have any other good archers besides me?
Nope.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
believe
they're currently being rained on by arrows, so their attention is pretty solidly held.
So are you saying that they wouldn't, that Hinata's thing about the reinforcements wouldn't be actually a concern?
No, Hanada's thing about the reinforcements would absolutely be a concern. It's brilliant what you've come up with. That was in response to Hayato's statement of how are you going to keep their attention while we sneak up? It's like they're already being shot at.
The details of such tactics and where they would be most effective elude me. They were nothing I was instructed in or have a strong intuition towards. I must apologize. However, my broader thought process is that if these are characteristic of explosive that I'm familiar with Shugenja performing, especially if they involve fire, that is quite distracting and would potentially be enough of a immediate threat to draw the attention of the troops away from their commander's potential vulnerability. Or alternatively, it would be an effective way to mess with or eliminate a commander.
Very well.
I'm not sure which is a better tactic.
My personal preference would be for as few as possible to approach and deploy these constructions from as safe a distance as can be managed in these circumstances.
That is wise.
Very well. I will speak to Suzume, and we will arrange for this deployment. Any distraction you can muster from the others in order to cover the process of our approach, I will leave to your expertise.
Of course.
So it's probably at this point that very loudly Akane looks over at the central command unit and smacks her forehead. They have a barricade!
You sort of hear this from behind.
Sorry?
Did she not notice that until now?
No, what that means, a barricade is very excellent for holding off large numbers of forces, but it also blocks line of sight. For a small number of forces to sneak up to the barricade, say with explosive creations, launch them over the wall where their forces are trapped within and not able to maneuver as quickly, cause chaos and scattering, which then provides enough room for a small force to move in and take out vital targets and retreat.
Are they barricaded on all four sides of these squares?
Not all of
just
them.
Just the command unit.
Just the command unit. The other ones are all barricaded facing the facing the castle.
Okay. And what can we see what the barricades are made of? I'm assuming earthworks and wood mostly.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like basically like they sort of piled up dirt and nailed wood to it.
Right.
So that the wood is like, it looks like they keep, the wood isn't catching fire from the arrows, but the arrows are remaining on fire when they hit the wood. So they've definitely sort of like wet the barricades to make sure they don't burn.
Yep. Okay. Well, Hayato will go get Suzume and sort of communicate to her the plan and wait for the inevitable snark.
Sounds fine.
Which will give him a little bit of pause. What can you tell me about the construction of these items? How quick are they to alight, and how long do they burn before the ultimate effect? Do you know?
3 seconds.
Very well.
Light it.
I
Drop it. 1, 2, 3. Boom.
will have to see if Ren-sama will be willing to loan me something. Akane-san.
Yes. Also, here, have this back.
Minato will have reapproached and just sort of without comment at Hisoka's side, unless directly asked something.
Are you fairly skilled at approaching an entrenched position without notice?
I mean, I'm not as skilled as you are, but that being I'm untrained, but I have a 3 agility.
So, no.
No. I also my armor is heavy. I would not be as quiet as you, which I think.
Unless we were attempting to approach as a single unit in a subtle manner, it could be helpful to have your sword with us when Suzume and I make our initial foray.
I think if the two of you move ahead and prepare to bombard the command unit with these explosive spheres, which will then provide enough of a distraction for the rest of us to close distance and take out commanders and retreat. Certainly. And she hands you the flame katana.
Okay.
I have my own blade anyway. She pulls out Shinohana.
Well, any last words from our commanders?
I still have extremely severe objections to this on many levels that I've already discussed, and no one has countered. But I seem to be outvoted.
I understand
moment,
your
yes.
concerns. However,
I mean, Like he's brought up like 7 points and people just were like, move on to the next topic. Stop.
So-
Out this whole thing. And he's like,
Jeremy,
Okay.
given I've recently been watching Runaways, I think you're Molly.
Molly, I am 100%
You are so
Molly.
Molly,
I am
dude.
the youngest one, the one that nobody listens to, and the one who occasionally says really stupid things, and trusts the wrong people.
Kisaki-sama, your objections are valuable and reasonable. For this reason, I would say that it may be worth noting that you will be leading an honorable open charge against a highly defended enemy position over open ground with
You're
your
saying
blade
that
drawn and for all to see. There is
You're saying that it is a death run. I am aware. I'm not saying that we charge.
I am
straight
not saying that you will not survive. I am not saying that any of us will fall. I am saying that your tactics and approach in this assault will be, as I can understand with my limited knowledge, the peak, the paragon of an honorable attack against a greter force.
Nakano-san, if I might
idiot.
intercede.
So, with respect,
Just buttering up.
which he's like,
If anybody's taking the honor hit here, it's going to be me and Suzume, and it doesn't count for me, so...
Suzume is not a samurai.
I am fully aware that it is. Let's be euphemistic and say very risky. And I'm not necessarily suggesting a straight-on assault. What I am saying is that I am concerned about degree of success of the plan where we try to maximize chance of survival. And I feel like ultimately it would be more important to help Clan Dragonfly repel this than any individual one of us.
I
And
put a
it's
little
like
red
one
mark
of us.
on the one with the big deal Oni, he and possibly the commander. If I might speak, much of my clanning and the history of my clan is entwined in this sort of large-scale combat. So I may be able to offer some other insights to supplement your own. Especially given that our force is not simply degrees of magnitude smaller. This is not outnumbered. This is a few solo fighters against a armed force.
Mm-hmm.
But we must, I agree that we must balance the possibility of survival with the severity of the threat. Why do I play articulate characters? In this particular instance, why did you make it 13? That's a hard number to divide by.
Because it's a significant number.
There are 2.5-ish units of attacking units for each member of our force. Meaning that the numbers of our force are vital, not just in this conflict, but in other conflicts we may encounter. I agree, our best shot is to find a method.
There is always the chance that should our initial assault seem to result in a failure, the rest of you will remain undercover and unnoticed, and we will be able to plan alternate means of approach. As I believe...
I don't know how to say this.
Yeah.
Hinata is going to try and lay out the battle tactics of we cannot accept losses the same way that they can.
Right.
And I don't know, like, how much that will or won't matter, but, like, that is... She'll say something appropriately Rokugan that means...
Proportional casualties.
Right. Yeah, proportional casualties.
How acceptable losses may be for them. This is the math for us. We must assume that the Dragonfly similarly can't afford much in the way of losses.
Hayato will respond that... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Our plan is not to win. The best case scenario is we diffuse the... Oh, what's a good word? The best case scenario is that we diffuse the cohesiveness of the enemy force.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The optimal targeted scenario is one where we disrupt the formation enough to provide the tacticians, and I'm sure the dragon employ, is with an opportunity to mount a counter or attack.
Yes, I agree with you, Yase-sama.
We're not winning this fight ourselves. We're giving them an opening.
Of course not. But they need to know that the opening is there to take advantage of it at the very least.
I think our method of making that opening will be very obvious, I say, looking at Hayato and Suzume.
Kisaki-sama, if we need to...
If they're not prepared and they're in the middle of a siege, they may not be able to organize in advance. Is there any way we can possibly get word inside?
Can I find a bird, John?
If we let them know what's coming...
Not necessarily a bird, but you could certainly find a spirit.
Can I attach a... I can't... Is there, especially knowing that the Dragonfly primarily employs Shugenja, is there a way to use the standard spells or something else to essentially do the equivalent of a message spell with like a summon or a commune?
Yeah. Yeah, you can summon a spirit to carry a message. That can be a task you ask it to do.
Okay, where's the one that says you can ask the... Okay, so is that specific to a spell that I don't have, or is that something I could achieve with the typical spells? Because I can ask a bird to carry a message for me, but am I not making sense? I'm not.
No. You can... So it's not quite as written in the thing, but using the commune spell, you can effectively, instead of asking a spirit a question, you can request an action of the spirit. And if you and if you request it appropriately and do the spell correctly, you can get a spirit to do something for you.
I'm gonna ask us. Can I ask a water spirit, or is this probably something to ask an air spirit?
Probably an air spirit.
Okay. I'm gonna ask it. I'm gonna try and use commune to ask an air spirit to communicate that once we are prepared, I can send word that it will not be specific plans, but word to look for an opening that will arise. I suspect they have many surveying the battle and reissuing orders based on any changes, but if it would assure you.
That would at least improve our chances of successfully aiding.
The Lion Clan person who it doesn't occur to her that there's not going to be a legion of strategists commanding this force.
I mean, there might very well be inside, but if they're in the middle of a siege, and I realize that there's the archers firing up, they need time to quote unquote scramble the jets and everything else that they're going to need in place to capitalize on an attack.
Okay. Once we are prepared to bring plans into the form of action, he'll relay such a message. Do we have our commit? However, socially, I would counsel that I don't want to send that message until we're sure we're going to do a thing. So are we committed to actually enacting a plan?
Hayato is definitely committed to firebombing the command square.
So, just so I have clarification, because I'm going to be piloting an NPC or two, the plan is to have Hayato and Suzume sneak up towards the wings, plant a pair of firebombs in sort of the middle of the six flanking battalions, use a fire arrow or something to set those off, and then light the remaining and throw them in the command center?
Either firebomb the wings or the central square and have us take care of the other one. I don't know which would be better.
Okay.
I think the current plan that at least Akane and Hayato are both clued in on is Suzume and Hayato firebomb, like sneak up to the barricades that they've got surrounding the command square, and light their grenades and firebomb the command square, and in the ensuing chaos, forces run in to eliminate any remaining commanders that are still alive after being grenaded 6 times, or however many times that Suzume has made grenades.
Yes.
Okay. So, is that the agreed upon plan?
We're trying to make a targeted strike against the command square in order to disrupt the cohesion of the wings. Because we're trying to cut the head off the snake.
Alternately, she had 2 possible iterations, or 3 possible iterations. 2 of those iterations were some of the force, probably Akane and Arashi with some backup. Let's be honest. Disrupt the wing's attention in some way, so that the firebomb would be unexpected, but that we don't have enough people for that, so we're just going for targeted strike.
So firebomb the command post, then everybody runs in, stabs the shit out of the commanders, and runs away.
Yes, that.
Okay, I have it in my brain now.
I know it's not a great plan.
But beforehand, Hinata notifies the Dragonfly to cover some of Hisoka's concerns about.
We gon' be doing this. Be ready.
Okay. So you gather at the tree line with sort of the shortest bead to the command post as possible.
Uh-huh.
Hinata,
Commune spell.
Cast the commune spell.
I hate casting non-fire spells or non-water spells. 15 succeeds the TN.
Yep. The wind around you swirls and forms this little sprite-like body.
I do the thing we discussed.
You ask it to send a message, and it.
Yeah.
You respectfully pray to it, and all the things that you need to do. It flies off. You're pretty certain it's going to go tell them something.
They should have received the message. At the very least, they'll know someone tried to send them a message using an air spirit.
Air spirits are playful and easily distracted. But hopefully it worked.
The wind spirit decides to let's just play a prank on them. Hide all your forces. Pull them all the way back in and don't look outside. If you hear explosions,
Air
run away.
spirits are also kami, and kami universally revile the Shadowlands.
It's true.
Yeah, so
So-
hopefully they're like, okay, we want to fight Shadowlands here. This is good.
Yase-sama, would you be willing to lend me the abilities you did on our battle last evening?
Of course. I must warn you, it lasts 3 rounds.
Do I look...
I can raise it, so it'll last slightly longer. But,
Okay.
of course,
So it lasts but a few minutes.
as we prepare, I'm going to spend that spell. So ebbing strength. I'm going to
Do we
take
want-
1 phase, which increases the duration by a round,
Okay, so
making it 4 rounds.
4 rounds.
Okay.
And making there be a chance I fail a spell roll.
Oh, no.
No, 22 just passes the raised TN.
Okay. So I've got 4 rounds of 4 agility.
Do
Got 4 rounds of an additional 1 agility, was it?
do we want to have distractions ready on the sides in case this does not, they cannot reach
That would-
it in time, or they get found?
We'd be splitting ourselves. We'd be splitting ourselves too thin. We can't do that. Our numbers are too few.
You're right.
The
And
distractions
Hayato
on
and
the sides would need to have gone off in advance of this. No.
And Hayato and Suzume with 6 grenades and a flamey sword are sneaking across open terrain towards
Give me a stealth roll.
40. Thank
He is
God.
gone.
Would you like to honor roll that?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't think honor roll is going to get me above a 40.
She rolled 53.
Nice.
So,
And
Hayato
you both get spotted.
Hayato-
That's out.
Hayato sort of pulls the straw hat back, lets it hang down, and then just ducking low, takes off across the open plains, trying to sort of lower his body profile.
Y'all know
So-
your Naruto running, right?
Suzume actually gets down on all 4s as she runs. She's like using her hands as if they were claws and just yanking herself forward, running with very quickly, but also with a much lower profile than even Hayato has. As the group, you sort of watch them for a moment before they just duck behind some tall grass and disappear from sight. Hayato,
Yep.
you and Suzume eventually find yourselves getting closer to these battalions of goblins, and you can hear this all these grotesque monstrous sounds that these goblins are making in their conversation of this language that you don't understand. As you get close, and the smell of these tainted creatures wafts across the air. It's enough to turn your guts if you had eaten recently.
Which I have not.
Yeah, good.
You don't go into a battle on a full stomach.
But you do manage to get up next to the forest-facing barricade of the command post without being spotted. As you sort of put your back to it, you hear a sound as a flaming arrow slams into the barricade near your head. And as it seems you've come underneath the barrage of arrow fire, which was intentional because the incoming barrage pulls attention to it, so it makes it even easier for the two of you to get up close. Suzume sitting there with just her 2 little daggers that are not Masamune forged weaponry. Just sort of sitting there next to you, keeping an eye out, sort of her vision sort of focused on the goblins. Her breathing is sort of hitched a bit. You can tell that she's never really been this close to a Shadowlands creature before. Even like even last night, the closest she was up a tree. So
Right. I pass her 3 of the grenades, and then with my offhand, pull out the flame blade and start igniting the first one of mine.
she sort of all holding all 3 in her palms, just sort of holds them out.
I signal for her to light one, throw it, light one, throw it, light one, throw it.
She's like,
and we just start the process.
So yeah, light. So you get all 6 of these. On the other side of the barricade, you hear, and Suzumi tugs your arm, going, "Let's run!"
Yep, and we are sheathing the blade and stealthing back towards the forest line.
Wait on the stealth check.
And are the grenades going over the wall visible from our vantage?
Yeah, you see these small little like clay pots going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
So as soon as they start going over, Akane just like, that's our signal. We need to be as close as possible when the explosions go off so we can take full advantage. And she takes off down towards the...
Arashi's right behind you.
To start stealthing back.
Oh goodness. Yeah, running.
All right.
Hinata reasonably easily keeps pace with Akane.
71. You lose track of Suzume as you're running back.
I don't care. She's lowborn. She can handle herself.
And after 1 heartbeat, 2 heartbeats, 3, the sky gets a lot brighter as 12 pounds of gunpowder explode
Holy shit.
in the middle of this command center.
6 2-pound grenades, boys.
Little clay pots. And just those of you running up duck as bits of wood and metal shrapnel go flying past your heads as the barricades are no more.
As Akane ducks a piece of wood, and in the same motion, Shinohana comes out of the very long sheet that's over her shoulder, and it's just straight behind her, ready to just get a running swipe at someone.
So, as you approach the bodies of goblins...
Hisoka's just...
Hisoka does that a lot.
Hinata's looking for a commander.
Yeah, Akane is too.
As you approach what is effectively a pile of bodies now, you notice that the large Oni is still standing, turning to look and see what just happened, and sort of picking themselves up from the rubble. You see 4 humanoid figures. All of them are wearing these sort of demon-faced samurai masks and heavy armor, with katanas at their side as they stand up and turn to look at the approaching forces.
Do they look damaged at all?
They are definitely, like, there's a bit of fire on one of them that they sort of reach over and douse. They look like they just walked through an explosion. You can't really tell how injured they are because they're wearing full armor.
I mean, it's an important question. Do they look like action heroes who just walked through an explosion, or action villains that just walked through an explosion?
Action villains that just walked through an explosion.
Okay, I feel a little better about that.
Like they're burnt, and there's like burnt and ash and burn marks and everything, but they're still standing.
Okay, so like, yeah, I was considered like they come out and their Bruce Willis tank top is all dirty and but
the hair is slightly to the side.
No. They're bleeding, like, in places underneath the armor, but still standing.
Yeah, they look like Terminator walking through an explosion with just like chunks taken off, but they're still walking.
Not helpful.
More like Terminator than Bruce Willis. And sort of 3 of them draw blades and spread out as you approach. One of them locking eyes with Irie.
Oh no.
And you get this sort of moment pulse as you recognize a Crane Clan stance.
Okay. Responding stance.
Commander among these
Mm,
bullshit.
They all seem to be like it's impossible to tell which one of them would be the commander. It seems like they're all working in unison.
So this is the command unit that
Yeah,
needs
this
to
is
die.
the command unit.
mhm.
So Arashi launches himself towards the giant one.
Yeah. Do I see any particularly large weapon wielding or crab looking lost?
One of them has a Nodachi that they're wielding with one hand, and a war fan in the other.
You're my target.
Um,
Can I start this fight in the first round of my rage?
Yeah, you can.
Sweet.
So we're gonna separate this out a little bit. So we've got
All right.
Arashi. What was that?
Time out real quick. So I got a 41 stealth
Okay.
for my escape, and then a 35 sleight of hand.
Okay.
Can I say that Akane has their flame blade back and might not know how?
Give me an investigation seeing thing, Akane.
26.
You like sort of with your Nodachi on your shoulder, you just reach down and sort of put your hand on your hip to like sort of like action hero pose, and you feel a katana there that wasn't there a minute ago.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure that got redeployed.
That's a question then.
So Akane is sort of squaring off with this larger lost. Irie has sort of locked eyes with another. Arashi is launching himself at the demon.
We're all looking for our counterparts. So was there a fucking idiot on
The goblin.
Unfortunately,
There's one
Slightly
goblin
made it chin.
is like staggering out.
Not necessarily. Just
if we're
somebody
looking
who
for
was
counterparts, we're gonna die when Hayato's comes out from behind and kills all of us from stealth.
right.
There are two left. One is just holding a katana and has drawn a wakizashi in sort of a back held stance, which you
Okay.
recognize as a Minamoto style of swordsmanship,
Okay.
which is the Dragon Clan Bushi school.
Right.
And then the other one has a katana out, but is using it to cut their hand.
Oh.
Well, I think we know
Oh.
who's pairing off with who.
And they're sort of standing.
No.
They're sort of standing next to each other.
Yeah,
Aw.
because spellcasters are buffers in this system, not.
Unless they're really powerful void Shugenja.
Yeah, voice Shugener is like, you don't exist.
I mean, the thing about Lion Clan is in the larger scale of this battle, I can do a fair amount of damage
It's true.
So
if I was higher level. Yeah, okay.
no,
Do
Hisoka
this.
is going to look at Hinata and say, I think we should switch.
Fair enough.
That's how it works in the comic books, goddammit. You never fight the one that is matched against you, because that happens for like half the book, and then all of a sudden they're like, no, everybody, switch your opponents. Let's just get that out of the way.
Oh no.
Fair enough.
Okay.
And Hinata will grit her teeth and not look directly at the Maho, and instead, let's pick on Irie's friend.
Well, Irie is about to initiate a duel.
Yeah.
So we're going to do that first.
Okay.
So, Irie, do you recall the rules of dueling?
Yes, I have extensive notes now.
7 hours later.
It does not take that. It's three. It's
No,
three
no,
rolls.
Yeah.
Just 3 rolls.
All right.
Assessment.
So, assessment stage.
Reroll initiative. First reroll initiative, though.
First roll initiative.
Um.
I'm
So?
so here for this.
Everybody or
Okay.
just Irie and her opponent?
We're gonna just do these two right now.
48.
Damn.
You're going first.
All right. Sweet. That means
You actually hang on. You beat their initiative by a lot, but I don't know if it means anything right now.
Oh, okay. Let me check.
I think it only means if you beat their next one by a lot.
Okay. Well, speed of lightning, gain a bonus of 2, keep 0 to the total of all attack rolls against those with lower. So that won't happen until the 3rd phase.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing else.
All right, no, it's focus is where it matters. So okay.
Yep.
So make your EI Jutsu assessment / awareness roll.
Okay. Let me find that on my notepad. All right. So
As a tumbleweed from nowhere passes between the two of them.
yes, exactly. Listen.
It's high noon.
Yeah. All right. I have roll 8. Keep
Sound of a
2.
rattlesnake in the background.
2.
It's Suzume in the background.
26.
I mean, I feel like Suzume should be the Widowmaker of this situation. Like, nope. Ting. One shot, headshot.
26 beats
Yep.
their roll.
Okay. By if it by 10 plus?
You didn't raise,
No.
so no, it doesn't.
Okay. Cool.
So you get any one. So what one of those of things do you want to know? The opponent's void rank, their reflexes, their Aijutsu skill, any emphasis they might possess, the current number of void points spent, or their current wound level. Wound level.
God.
Wound level might be relevant.
I was gonna say.
Yeah, let's do
Please
wound
pick
level.
Wound level.
That
All
sounds
right.
good.
They are currently the one you are facing is currently injured.
Good.
Okay.
Oh.
All right. That's
Yay.
good. I feel fairly confident.
That's what happens when you tank 6 grenades.
Thanks. All right. All right. So I'm gonna keep going then.
Okay.
Focus.
Uh,
And that is.
yeah. You also did not. You also did not exceed by 10 or more. So you
Yep.
don't get the plus one key
Yes. Yep.
Uh,
But I get. Keep going
and
for my.
They get to make their roll too.
Yep.
So what's your insight rank times 5?
Insight.
Your insight rank is
Is
10. I think it is.
where's my insight rank?
At the very top.
I think your
Oh.
insight rank is 2 right now, isn't it?
Yes.
So it'll be
Yep.
20. So I don't think they can make it.
They have to take a 25 if they're injured.
No, they have to make a 35.
Oh, 35.
Yeah, they don't make it.
Okay.
They don't learn anything.
All right. Do they concede the duel?
Nope.
Okay.
Lost. They don't concede.
I don't know. Giving them a
All right.
chance.
Now
All
we're
right.
to the focus stage.
Yes.
So
All right.
make a Iaijutsu focus / void roll.
Okay, and I have one free
See,
raise.
This guy's a really good duelist, but because all of his TNs are plus 15, he's going to lose.
I have one free raise from my mastery.
Okay.
And so that is 9, keep 3. $28.
Because he's injured, you beat him
Okay. By a significant amount?
by 11.
By 11. Okay, that.
If he
means
wasn't
something
injured,
happened.
you would have lost.
Yeah. So duelist beats the other by 5 plus gets first strike plus 1 free raise for every plus 5 wins. So 2 free raises and
Yep.
I get first strike.
Yep.
All right.
All right, make an Iaijutsu reflexes attack
Okay.
with 2 free raises.
All right. And 1 free raise from the weapon.
Yes, and 1 free raise weapon.
Yes.
That's just for damage.
Okay.
though.
For damage,
You
yeah.
can use the
Yep.
2 free raises for damage if you want, or for something on the attack.
Right, that's all the Masamune blades get a free raise for extra damage, right?
Correct.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
Extra damage. No, I think I'm just gonna go for damage. I don't
All right.
not affect things.
Sure, I have
Okay.
this down.
Make the attack.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's gonna be
Attack.
Uh,
53.
53 hits.
Okay.
Jesus.
You roll with an additional +3, keep 0
Okay.
on the damage. Which, if that exceeds 10, that rolls over to the keeps.
And I'm coming from center, and I have higher initiative, so it's 5, keep 3, plus 1, keep 0. I think that's the math.
5
right.
keep 3 plus 3 keep 0.
Oh. All right.
So
1 plus 2 plus 2 plus 1 plus 1.
I know.
So
I hate
8
this math.
8
8,
keep
3.
3.
Yep. 42 points of damage.
So you size this guy up
Mm.
and just grab the thing and start running, and he's barely got his sword halfway out of the sheath before yours is out and past. And the wind sort of follows through with the slice, your coat fluttering off to one side. As you recall something very similar happening to you previously when you dueled your cousin.
Hmm.
And anime style, everything goes black and white as blood spurts out, and this guy falls over in half because you killed him.
That's my combat.
So, shifting over to Hisoka and Hinata.
Alrighty.
Okay. I have been ordered to switch targets.
So, there are 2 targets before you. There's the Dragon Clan Lost and the Shugenja, the Maho Shugenja.
Mahotsukai.
That fucking bitch.
So, yeah, I'm going after yeah.
All right, so let's roll initiative.
All right.
Important question, because I'm not entirely sure.
Mhm.
Has it been 4 rounds since Hayato was given the...
Yes, it would have been by this point.
Okay.
Okay, cool.
I get my
Uh-oh.
fire ring back to 2.
That's good.
21.
Initiative is
All right.
unmodified at this time, so 18, I guess.
It's a total of 30 for me, John.
All right. So, it's going... Nice. Maho Shugenja,
Sweet.
Uh-oh.
Hayato,
Uh-oh.
Hisoka, Hinata, Dragon Clan Bushi. So the Shugenja slices their hand with their katana and just sprays out this blood from their palm. And as they do, the area around both them and the other Bushi darkens, as if a blood-red mist descends around them, as they cast Blood and Darkness. The spell plunges the air around the caster into an unnatural visual obscurement, either pitch black or dark blood red as the caster desires, as the constant literally block the vision of everyone in the area of effect. Everyone who enters or remains within the spell's area of effect, except for the caster, is considered to be blind until they move out of the area of effect. The caster can see normally. The zone of obscurement does not move once it is created.
It's darkness spell.
Effectively.
Yep.
So this
It's a
area
darkness spell
of
With
this
several paragraphs of text.
this
because of-
blood-red mist surrounds the Maho Shugenja and the Dragon Clan Bushi.
I activate my dark vision because I'm secretly drow. Oh, wait.
Hayato, you see this happen.
Okay. Hayato's intention initially was to make as long distance of a grapple roll with his Kasarigama as he could against the caster, the Shugenja.
You'd have to be within it's a 30-foot radius around them. You'd have to be within the radius of the mist.
He's going to give it a shot.
So you just sort of dart into the mist, trying to attack the last known location.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh no.
So basically, he makes a chain weapons roll, and that's his grapple check, more or less.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So with his Kasarigama, 41.
You fling it at the last known location that you know, and you hear it wrap around something.
Yes. Okay. I don't think I get to deal damage. I think I just grabbed onto something.
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
Unless you had done raises to try to trip or anything like that, but you
Not
currently
at this point. At this point, I was just trying to grab on.
The weighted end of the Kusarigama is currently wrapped around something.
Okay. Cool.
All right, Hisoka.
All right, well, there's going to be no point in just hanging out here and waiting for them to come out because I don't think they're coming out. So,
Yeah, you imagine if you wait too long, the goblins will organize and flood you.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's an incoming force.
So yeah, I am going for where the Shugenja was.
All right, you run into this mist, your vision obscured by it.
Yep.
Give me an attack roll.
All right.
I attack the darkness.
I do, but not with magic missile. That's Hinata's job.
In this case, the blood mist, but
Oh, that's cute. Hinata doesn't have magic missile.
No, that's probably a Phoenix Clan thing.
All
No,
right.
that's an Earth Ring thing, so it would be
Oh, it'd be Crab
Crab.
Clan. It'd be Crab Clan then, yeah. Crab have the Earth specialty.
Phoenix Clan don't have magic missile. They have burn you to an ash.
They have Fireball.
Phoenix Clan have anything they fucking want.
It's true.
That would be a 44.
You feel you feel your blade strike, but it doesn't. You were pretty certain the Shugenja wasn't as armored as whatever you hit. Roll damage.
Okay.
They swap positions.
They switch positions. And by the way, this is a free raise on damage, and it is Jade.
So an extra 1, keep 0 on the damage.
Yeah. I think I already have that factor. Maybe I don't. I don't.
If it says
No.
5, keep 3, then you've already got it factored in.
No, it says because it's +1.
Oh yeah, no. So it should be 6,
It's
keep
like-
4. Yeah.
64. Okay, so
No. Plus your
okay, I
plus
have
that-
6-5.
that may be because
I
of your
don't
strength. That may be because of your strength.
I mean, my strength is like 4. Yeah, my strength is 4. Fuck, whatever.
It works.
Yeah,
You
53 damage.
You feel your blade puncture through armor and pull it back out. You definitely hit something.
Works for
Was
me.
it Hayato?
Yeah.
No, it was not Hayato.
Heavily armored doesn't really describe Hayato very well.
No.
It describes his heart.
Oh.
Hinata.
Well, so
I'm so excited for when it gets to when the Bushi gets to go and murder me in like one shot. It's gonna be amazing.
that's what I'm thinking.
But you don't know what's going on inside. To be fair,
I can't find I don't know Hayato's there. I can't find Hisoka. So Hinata is going to head to. Here's a tip about Bushi, or not Bushi, Shugenja. Everything we do requires being able to see shit.
It's almost like the Maho Shugenja would know that.
Yeah, fuck that bitch so hard. So Hinata's just gonna walk up to the edge of the darkness, and cast Cloak of Mia. Maya.
Maya.
Cloak.
Of Water, which I exceeded the TN for.
It
So
would be Mia then. Mia.
defense stance, Cloak of Mia. So my current, 7 from the cloak, plus 5 from defense.
All right. Hayato, make me an athletics check.
Okay.
You feel something grabbing the chain.
Uh-oh.
Trying to pull you in. You're about to get for honored, son.
So is it athletics or is it an attempt to control my grapple?
Yeah, athletics to keep your feet.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they're not trying to break your grapple, they're trying to yank you in.
19.
Yeah, you feel the chain get grabbed and you try to hold it so that you're like holding the person in place. And then your feet leave the ground as you are yanked bodily towards the person you have grappled.
Okay.
You sort of run, and you feel, let's see if they can hit you with the increased TN to hit. Of both being injured and being blind.
For those who aren't aware, that's what happens when in For Honor you parry a shinobi's ranged attack or parry their ranged guard break.
If you
So
add...
it's kind of like if Genji could actually parry Roadhog.
If you add 30 to your armor TN, what is it?
Currently adding 30 to my armor TN.
2.
53.
Hits!
Damn it.
Rolled 58.
Damn!
Oh boy.
You take 44 points of damage as you are yanked onto a sword.
Oof.
Are you alive?
Yeah.
No, the question is, do I?
Do you what? You do get reduction from your armor.
That's right. You're ninja fuck.
Do you have Kawarimi no Jutsu?
Can you substitution yourself?
But I think that's not the.
I really hope that's like a keyhole or something that a
It
monk
is.
can do.
It
to
is.
substitute themselves.
It is a keyhole that you can do to replace yourself with a log.
That's amazing.
That's kind of amazing.
I want to play a monk that can do that.
No, it's just if this is the character that I have grappled, I honestly don't, as I'm reading the rules of grappling, I don't think they are allowed to do that.
Let me take a look.
Yeah.
Because you've just got him held. You don't have him fully restrained right now. Mostly because you couldn't aim it properly.
Yeah.
Where are the rules of grappling?
There
There they are. Found them.
Okay. You read them and tell me what the storyteller
Characters
says.
control the grapple can do one of two things. Speaking contested Jujutsu strength roll. Character who has the highest result is considered to be in control of the grapple until the next character's turn. It would have been a chain. Actually, yeah, it would have been a chain. So redo that roll with a chain weapon because it would have been to maintain control of the grapple. But, you know, he effectively took control of the grapple. But let's see if make a new roll and we'll see. Because I made you do the wrong roll. But it is something he can do.
Okay, so it is something he can do, but I'm making that roll as a grapple instead. Okay.
Yeah, yes.
All right. So instead of the 19, it's a 43.
He's still maintained control of the grapple.
Okay.
He rolled a 44.
Wow. Oh,
So-
you were so close.
I realize this affects everyone equally, but if they're considered blind,
Yes.
is that the same as blind the disadvantage?
It adds an additional 15 TN or to your TN of doing anything.
Okay.
I mean,
So
I
it's
would
not
argue
the same as blind as it is written in the rulebook. Got it.
No.
I would argue that there
Because
is no
keywords don't mean anything in this system.
What was that, Jeremy?
I would argue that there is no. We should not assume that they are blind.
Yeah, that's probably fair.
That's a fair argument. Yep. Okay. Plus my reduction and
Yeah.
such.
Yeah, you still get your
Okay.
reduction to it.
Okay. Do-do-do-do-do.
So you're only near death instead of like in two pieces.
And you said it was how much?
44.
44. With my reduction. Okay. And let me look at the rulebook for that.
Are you
I
down
don't-
or
I-
out?
I think I'm down.
Oh, wow.
I was gonna say.
Well,
I think I am down.
Oh, no.
you.
Do I hear that?
Oh yeah, you definitely hear a grunt of pain as Hayato gets a sword through the gut.
Do I hear that
Right.
right next to me?
You do hear that right next to you.
And a spray of
Something I
ninja
hear
blood
is
over
something I
my
can head
face.
towards.
And then Hayato, you're just sort of kicked off the blade and onto the ground.
Where he is going to stay for the time being.
Yeah, if you are at the wound level of the down state, you are still in that state. It's when you pass that you go to the next one.
Okay.
Like for me, down is 68.
All right,
So if I'm at 68, I'm still down. But if I go to 69, I go to out.
the Maho's Sugenja's turn.
Alright, folks, we
Grabbed the
gotta
wrong
kill
one.
this
Damn it.
motherfucker before he gets another round. Cause
You...
I don't wear armor.
Why not?
Because
We'll explain that afterwards.
Because only warriors get access to armor in some ways.
yeah.
Oh, boy.
Hisoka.
Dumb shit Hisoka ran in a fucking kimono, okay?
This is amazing.
Yes.
I'm trying to
much
see.
damage
I'm trying to
do I
see
take?
what you roll in response to this.
Investigation?
Oh no, they roll an attack on
Maho
you.
is usually Earth Ring.
They roll an attack
Oh.
on you. Okay.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Oh, no.
good.
Oh,
I'm
no.
excited.
What's your armor TN, Hisoka?
24.
Okay.
Oh, hey, that's almost as high as mine is.
You
Because I get a +4 to my armor TN and because of my school.
Cool.
So you feel a
Okay.
blood-soaked hand grab your wrist,
Uh-oh.
and a stinging pain rushes through the muscles, causing the arm to lock up.
Oh dear.
You have an additional plus 15 TN to anything doing with your right arm. Anything you do with your right arm.
Please tell me you're secretly left-handed.
We never established what hand I use.
I
Oh, no.
am not left-handed.
It would have been going towards whatever hand you held your sword in, because the Shugenja can see you. So-
That's what. See?
That's fair.
See?
Yeah.
There you go.
Well, the one who casts the spell is not affected by it. The
Yeah.
swordsman is blind.
The swordsman is
Shugenja
blind.
not.
The Shugenja is
We
not.
don't know. Maybe he is a particular type of
Yeah.
lost who can see through blood.
So yeah, whichever arm is your sword arm has been
Okay.
paralyzed. Or not paralyzed,
Yeah,
but
excellent.
made numbed.
Like I said, please tell me you were secretly using your offhand the whole time.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no.
Kidding.
whichever hand is your main hand is now numb.
Alright. Hayato, you're still technically awake.
On it.
Okay.
Left
Wanna
hand.
call for help,
No,
maybe?
right hand.
What?
It's
yeah,
just that
my question is like, how long does a duel last? And
This is
when
all happening at the
can
same
I help
time.
rescue? Okay.
I have a. You just killed your person.
Okay.
So
cool.
basically, at the end of this round, you'll be able to enter into this one.
Sweet.
and I'm in a whole different fight. So
Yeah.
like when I finish my opponent, I'm going to turn to fight the Oni. So
Most likely, if it's not already dead. This is all happening concurrently.
Mhm.
Yep. For the record, Hisoka is right hand.
Okay.
Because I rolled the percentages.
There you go. Yeah, you just have plus 40 to everything, but you are still technically awake.
would you like to retreat?
Crawl.
Grappling is a lot more nerfed than I
away.
originally thought. Okay.
His dice exploded
Yeah.
ridiculously.
No. Yeah. No.
One arm in front of the other.
When can I take the full defense stance?
Okay,
It-
so
you
a
don't-
character
you
who
don't
is
have a-
down, a character who is down is virtually incapacitated. They may speak only in a whisper. Such a character may only potentially take free actions unless a particular wound makes such action impossible, and cannot take move actions, and must spend a void point in order to be able to do so. I'll say you can spend a void
What
point.
about a stance?
I say you can spend a void point to move and take a stance.
Okay, then yeah, he will spend a void point to move and take the full defense stance. Yeah.
All right. So you just sort of, and I'll say you can probably crawl to the edge of the fog.
Okay.
So
Where I can see him or no?
That is
Yeah.
what he will do.
yeah, no, you see a bleeding out Hayato just death crawling his way out of the
Fix
fog.
it.
ran in, Kusarigama ready, crawled back out like
I can fix it.
No.
It's the Looney Tunes maneuver.
Hayato was outside of the field. It was whook, yonk, and then
Yeah.
he got reverse scorpioned.
yes,
Yeah.
he did. He really
Yes,
did.
I did.
Get over here. Hisoka,
All right, let's see how this is gonna go.
swap to your other hand.
No, I don't know. What is the difficulty of attacking with an offhand?
I believe it's an additional 5 to the TN.
Yes.
Yes, it's better than just swinging with a numb hand.
Womp.
Give me an attack roll.
All right. Yeek. 20.
You hit.
Yay!
He's severely injured.
Oh, that's true.
You already stabbed him once.
Free raise on damage, etc., etc., etc. 40 damage.
So you toss that blade to your other hand and slice, and you feel a spray of arterial blood hit your face, and hear something hit the ground.
Oh, sorry.
Hinata.
Defense stats, patching up Hayato.
Yeah.
All right.
Because worst case scenario, I can probably still get you out of nearly dead. Best case scenario, my dice explode, but that's not going to happen in this case. So she'll just tap 31 points of healing.
You were saying your dice explode is unlikely?
That was not really a dice explosion. That was
that's
one explosion with a 1.
yeah.
To be
That's a
fair, you still healed
Mhm.
most of the damage he took.
31.
no.
He took 40
40 something.
something.
Oh,
He healed
okay.
31. He
44,
healed
I
most
think.
of it.
44, I think.
But that
Like,
was
there's-
before
I
reduction.
healed enough
Oh,
to get you
never mind.
out of
Yeah.
really critical wounds, if I remember.
Yeah, no, that drops me down to nicked, actually.
Yeah, you sort of crawl your way out of the
It's
mist.
almost like when you min-max a character to do one thing, they're good at it.
Hinata reaches down, places a seal on you, basically punches you in the gut with magic. And the injury that you were bleeding
No.
through goes...
That's what I would do to Hisoka.
Uh,
There's just a... Sorry. There's... Yeah. There's that sort of pulse of energy through his entire body.
and the wound on your stomach closes. Kind of like the end of Robin Hood Men in Tights when they pulled the sword out.
No, okay.
You're pretty certain your Kusarigama's still in the fog, though.
Yeah. No, I need to go get that. But that's for next round.
Dragon Clan Bushi's dead, so it's the Shigenja's turn.
Oh, good. Is this the round that Kakita Irie rolls into? initiative?
Yes, Irie, go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay. 41.
It's Irie's turn.
All right. There's a Shugenja in there, and yeah, let's just do.
I mean, and possibly a Bushi. You don't know.
And also Hisoka.
Yeah, that's true.
Run in, just blade swinging. Let's see what happens.
Just going whoosh, whoosh.
Just shing! I beheaded someone. The fog clears. Hisoka's on the ground.
I like that you're just going whoosh, 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 coming out the other side with Hisoka's head on the.
Balanced on the end of the sword. Like Genji with a pumpkin. Just oh.
They did it.
Oh goodness! Now I have no idea where people are. Well, that's a good question. How likely am I to hit Ahsoka? I don't know.
You don't know.
I will shout
The
into
fog-
the mist, "Come out, you coward!"
Yeah,
and
the
go
fog
into
doesn't render us
stance.
deaf, does it?
What?
The fog doesn't render them deaf, does it?
No, it doesn't render him deaf.
Good.
Yep.
Just blind.
Come out, you coward, and go into center stance, because I'm not gonna possibly hit.
Okay. Their
my
turn.
allies.
Let's see. What are they going to do in response to that threatening statement?
Kill me.
I can fix you. I fixed Hayato.
Please tell me that the sphere of blood is a concentration spell, and if they want to do anything significant, they have to drop it.
No, it lasts for a number of rounds.
Ah, dang it.
It lasts for 10 rounds.
God.
Why are
that's
Maho
terrible.
so OP? Oh, right, because they get to do cool shit.
Because they don't care about laws or
Right.
prices.
Yeah, Maho Tsukai. That's the point of Maho, is it's really powerful with a price that Lost don't care about paying.
Yeah.
Irie,
Yes.
what's your armor TN?
25.
Okay.
Just come out, you coward! Just hi.
Even with their increased TN. A figure leans out of the mist in response to your statement, looking up at you and just reaches a hand out, grabbing the side of your face.
Oh
You
god.
feel this dark energy pulse into your skin, and your stamina trait is reduced by 1.
Okay.
Drain the
Oh,
soul.
I see this.
You do see this.
Yes.
It does the exact opposite of ebbing strength, I'm going to assume.
Presumably.
Cause a malignant earth cancer to afflict the target, draining away their natural earth and leaving them weak and sickly. For the duration
Nothing
of the
hit
spell,
me, please.
Oh,
the
not
victim's
quite.
stamina rank is reduced by 1 to a minimum
Yeah,
of
nothing
1.
hit me, please.
This can cause the victim's earth ring to temporarily drop, reducing their wound threshold and making them more vulnerable to injury. So yeah, you can see the Maho Shigenja half sort of leaning out of the fog with Irie's face in hand. That makes it Hayato's turn.
As I am only nicked now.
At least I distracted it.
Come on, slacker, get to murdering. That is me. That is not Hisoka.
I don't care which one of you it is, because it's not going to change his intent, which at this point, I'm assuming he's going to have to draw a new weapon.
Yukigiri Genji Blade Dash.
I'm pretty sure it's aware. Everybody's aware now, so I think honestly, at his current state, pretty much all he can do is stand and draw another weapon. Which is what he will do.
I mean, because you can see the Shugenja.
Yeah, it's out now.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure I don't have my Kusarigama in my hand anymore.
No, you don't.
Right.
All right.
So, yeah.
Stand and draw weapon.
Yes.
That makes it Hisoka.
I'm assuming that despite the Shugenja stem, I still cannot see it because I'm in the middle of
No, you still cannot see it.
Okay.
You heard where Irie called from, but you don't know if it went there.
I'm going to do a really quick kick to the body in front of me, make sure that it's dead. Just just like
sure.
boom.
Yep.
And then I'm going to. How big is this blood cloud?
30 feet.
Because I was outside. Okay.
30-foot radius. Or 30-foot circle.
30-foot diameter.
There you go. That's it.
So move out in basically back the way I came.
If you're in the center of it, it's 15 feet to get out.
Yes.
Yeah, you back out
Do
of
a
the...
quick look around.
You see Irie off to the side with the Shugenja leaning out, holding her face.
Can I get there and attack?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's chop that arm off.
Make an attack roll.
Using
with a +5 to your TN if you're using your offhand still.
Yes. Yep. So 23 +5 TN.
That
that's
hits.
for you to figure out.
That hits.
So okay. 46 damage.
So you're staring into the eyes of the Shugenja through the demon mask it's wearing, Irie. This sort of red and yellow, like deathly ill eyes, as it's sucking the life out of you, and you feel yourself ebbing through the hand. And all of a sudden that feeling stops as the head slowly slides off, and a spray of arterial blood coats you. As Hisoka comes up and punches past you with sword in a reverse grip and just takes the head off.
Okay.
And as he does so, the blood cloud dissipates.
Does my stamina come back?
No, not for 10 minutes.
All right.
Does my arm unclench?
No, not for
A while.
10 rounds.
That's fine. I seem to be doing good as a lefty.
And so the group of you sort of pause to take your breath as you look over and see Akane locked in midst of heated battle with her opponent, and Arashi halfway up the torso of the giant Oni, Bisento in hand, stabbing away. And as this scene greets your vision and you think for a moment of what the fuck are we doing, that's where we're going to end for this week. Pick up with Akane and Arashi's fight next week. Say goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Goodbye.